having also sustained a back stress fracture, but both players are set to feature against England and Ireland. Batter Kane Williamson, who last played for the Black Caps in December after opting for a casual contract to pursue franchise opportunities, is also included in the squad. Moving on to rugby league news now. Bradford Bulls skipper Joe Mellor has extended his contract through to the end of next season with the Super League outfit. The 35-year-old loose forward joined the club on a one-year deal last November after leaving Salford. The former Widnes and Lee man is currently sidelined due to a knee issue, but this is what he's had to say regarding extending his stay with the Bulls. I'm really happy to be staying. It's been really good since I arrived, especially coming back into Super League. Moving on to news concerning Huddersfield Giants, and they have signed Oldham Ruffians hooker Cole Gaya on a loan until the end of the current campaign. The Australian has scored 5 tries in 14 appearances for the Championship outfit this term. He could make his Super League debut on Thursday against St Helens, and this is what interim coach Liam Finn had to say regarding his signing. We're really pleased to have Cole a part of this group. He's ready for the step up to Super League and will add some quality to our squad. That's all for now. We'll have more later. These are your latest sports news headlines. I'm Alex Jack. We start with the football headlines on this Thursday morning, and Paris Saint-Germain will face Arsenal in the final of the Champions League in Budapest on May 30th. That's following a 1-1 draw against Bayern Munich in Bavaria for the second leg, PSG going through 6-5 on aggregate. It was PSG who opened the scoring inside the 3rd minute. Ousmane Dembele getting on the score sheet. Bayern Munich tried to get themselves back into the tie. Harry Kane scored in the 94th minute, but it was too little too late as PSG progressed through to face Mikel Arteta's Arsenal. Well, looking ahead to the action tonight in Europe, Aston Villa take on Nottingham Forest at Villa Park in the UEFA Europa League semi-final second leg. Forest leading by 1-0 after the first leg at the City Ground. Meanwhile, Freiburg host Sporting Braga, with that game also taking place at 8 o'clock. Braga leading 2-1 after the first leg in Portugal. Meanwhile, there's also UEFA Conference League action. Crystal Palace hold a 3-1 advantage going into their second leg against Shakhtar Donetsk at Selhurst Park. Meanwhile, Rayo Vallecano take a 1-0 lead from the first leg into their second leg trip to Strasbourg. Moving on to cricket news now, and Kyle Jamieson and Will O'Rourke have returned from injury to bolster a strong New Zealand pace attack for next month's Test series in England, and also a one-off test against Ireland. Jamieson has not played a test since 2024 after back issues, while O'Rourke, another tall seamer, last featured in August, having also sustained a back stress fracture, but both players are set to feature against England and Ireland. Batter Kane Williamson, who last played for the Black Caps in December after opting for a casual contract to pursue franchise opportunities, is also included in the squad. Moving on to rugby league news now. Bradford Bulls skipper Joe Mellor has extended his contract through to the end of next season with the Super League outfit. The 35-year-old loose forward joined the club on a one-year deal last November after leaving Salford. The former Widnes and Lee man is currently sidelined due to a knee issue, but this is what he's had to say regarding extending his stay with the Bulls. I'm really happy to be staying. It's been really good since I arrived, especially coming back into Super League. Moving on to news concerning Huddersfield Giants, and they have signed Oldham Ruffians hooker Cole Gaya on a loan until the end of the current campaign. The Australian has scored 5 tries in 14 appearances for the Championship outfit this term. He could make his Super League debut on Thursday against St Helens, and this is what interim coach Liam Finn had to say regarding his signing. We're really pleased to have Cole a part of this group. He's ready for the step up to Super League and will add some quality to our squad. That's all for now. We'll have more later. These are your latest sports news headlines. I'm Alex Jack. We start with the football headlines on this Thursday morning, and Paris Saint-Germain will face Arsenal in the final of the Champions League in Budapest on May 30th. That's following a 1-1 draw against Bayern Munich in Bavaria for the second leg. PSG going through 6-5 on aggregate. It was PSG who opened the scoring inside the 3rd minute. Ousmane Dembele getting on the score sheet. Bayern Munich tried to get themselves back into the tie. Harry Kane scored in the 94th minute, but it was too little too late as PSG progressed through to face Mikel Arteta's Arsenal. Well, looking ahead to the action tonight in Europe, Aston Villa take on Nottingham Forest at Villa Park in the UEFA Europa League semi-final second leg. Forest leading by a 0-0 after the first leg at the City Ground. Meanwhile, Freiburg host Sporting Braga, with that game also taking place at 8 o'clock. Braga leading 2-1 after the first leg in Portugal. Meanwhile, there's also UEFA Conference League action. Crystal Palace hold a 3-1 advantage going into their second leg against Shakhtar Donetsk at Selhurst Park. Meanwhile, Rayo Vallecano take a 1-0 lead from the first leg into their second leg trip to Strasbourg. Moving on to cricket news now, and Kyle Jamieson and Will O'Rourke have returned from injury to bolster a strong New Zealand pace attack for next month's Test series in England, and also a one-off test against Ireland. Jamieson has not played a test since 2024 after back issues, while O'Rourke, another tall seamer, last featured in August, having also sustained a back stress fracture, but both players are set to feature against England and Ireland. Batter Kane Williamson, who last played for the Black Caps in December after opting for a casual contract to pursue franchise opportunities, is also included in the squad. Moving on to rugby league news now, Bradford Bulls skipper Joe Mellor has extended his contract through to the end of next season with the Super League outfit. The 35-year-old loose forward joined the club on a one-year deal last November after leaving Salford. The former Widnes and Lee man is currently sidelined due to a knee issue, but this is what he's had to say regarding extending his stay with the Bulls. "I'm really happy to be staying. It's been really good since I arrived, especially coming back into Super League." Moving on to news concerning Huddersfield Giants, and they have signed Oldham Ruffians hooker Cole Gaya on a loan until the end of the current campaign. The Australian has scored 5 tries in 14 appearances for the Championship outfit this term. He could make his Super League debut on Thursday against St Helens, and this is what interim coach Liam Finn had to say regarding his signing. "We're really pleased to have Cole a part of this group. He's ready for the step up to Super League and will add some quality to our squad." Well, that's all for now. We'll have more later. These are your latest sports news headlines. I'm Alex Jack. We start with the football headlines on this Thursday morning, and Paris Saint-Germain will face Arsenal in the final of the Champions League in Budapest on May 30th. That's following a 1-1 draw against Bayern Munich in Bavaria for the second leg. PSG going through 6-5 on aggregate. It was PSG who opened the scoring inside the 3rd minute. Ousmane Dembele getting on the score sheet. Bayern Munich tried to get themselves back into the tie. Harry Kane scored in the 94th minute, but it was too little too late as PSG progressed through to face Mikel Arteta's Arsenal. Well, looking ahead to the action tonight in Europe, Aston Villa take on Nottingham Forest at Villa Park in the UEFA Europa League semi-final second leg. Forest leading by a 0-0 after the first leg at the City Ground. Meanwhile, Freiburg host Sporting Braga, with that game also taking place at 8 o'clock. Braga leading 2-1 after the first leg in Portugal. Meanwhile, there's also UEFA Conference League action. Crystal Palace hold a 3-1 advantage going into their second leg against Shakhtar Donetsk at Selhurst Park. Meanwhile, Rayo Vallecano take a 1-0 lead from the first leg into their second leg trip to Strasbourg. Moving on to cricket news now, and Kyle Jamieson and Will O'Rourke have returned from injury to bolster a strong New Zealand pace attack for next month's Test series in England, and also a one-off test against Ireland. Jamieson has not played a test since 2024 after back issues, while O'Rourke, another tall seamer, last featured in August, having also sustained a back stress fracture, but both players are set to feature against England and Ireland. about Kane Williamson, who last played for the Black Caps in December after opting for a casual contract to pursue franchise opportunities, is also included in the squad. Moving on to rugby league news now. Bradford Bulls skipper Joe Mellor has extended his contract through to the end of next season with the Super League outfit. The 35-year-old loose forward joined the club on a one-year deal last November after leaving Salford. The former Widnes and Lee man is currently sidelined due to a knee issue, but this is what he's had to say regarding extending his stay with the Bulls. I'm really happy to be staying. It's been really good since I arrived, especially coming back into Super League. Moving on to news concerning Huddersfield Giants, and they have signed Oldham Ruffians hooker Cole Gaya on a loan until the end of the current campaign. The Australian has scored 5 tries in 14 appearances for the Championship outfit this term. He could make his Super League debut on Thursday against St Helens, and this is what interim coach Liam Finn had to say regarding his signing. We're really pleased to have Cole a part of this group. He's ready for the step up to Super League and will add some quality to our squad. That's all for now. We'll have more later. These are your latest sports news headlines. I'm Alex Jack. We start with the football headlines on this Thursday morning, and Paris Saint-Germain will face Arsenal in the final of the Champions League in Budapest on May 30th. That's following a 1-1 draw against Bayern Munich in Bavaria for the second leg, PSG going through 6-5 on aggregate. It was PSG who opened the scoring inside the 3rd minute. Ousmane Dembele getting on the score sheet. Bayern Munich tried to get themselves back into the tie. Harry Kane scored in the 94th minute, but it was too little too late as PSG progressed through to face Mikel Arteta's Arsenal. Well, looking ahead to the action tonight in Europe, Aston Villa take on Nottingham Forest at Villa Park in the UEFA Europa League semi-final second leg. Forest leading by 1-0 after the first leg at the City Ground. Meanwhile, Freiburg host Sporting Braga, with that game also taking place at 8 o'clock. Braga leading 2-1 after the first leg in Portugal. Meanwhile, there's also UEFA Conference League action. Crystal Palace hold a 3-1 advantage going into their second leg against Shakhtar Donetsk at Selhurst Park. Meanwhile, Rayo Vallecano take a 1-0 lead from the first leg into their second leg trip to Strasbourg. Moving on to cricket news now, and Kyle Jamieson and Will O'Rourke have returned from injury to bolster a strong New Zealand pace attack for next month's Test series in England, and also a one-off test against Ireland. Jamieson has not played a test since 2024 after back issues, while O'Rourke, another tall seamer, last featured in August, having also sustained a back stress fracture. But both players are set to feature against England and Ireland. Batter Kane Williamson, who last played for the Black Caps in December after opting for a casual contract to pursue franchise opportunities, is also included in the squad. Moving on to rugby league news now. Bradford Bulls skipper Joe Mellor has extended his contract through to the end of next season with the Super League outfit. The 35-year-old loose forward joined the club on a one-year deal last November after leaving Salford. The former Widnes and Lee man is currently sidelined due to a knee issue, but this is what he's had to say regarding extending his stay with the Bulls. I'm really happy to be staying. It's been really good since I arrived, especially coming back into Super League. Moving on to news concerning Huddersfield Giants, and they have signed Oldham Ruffians hooker Cole Gaya on a loan until the end of the current campaign. The Australian has scored 5 tries in 14 appearances for the Championship outfit this term. He could make his Super League debut on Thursday against St Helens, and this is what interim coach Liam Finn had to say regarding his signing. We're really pleased to have Cole a part of this group. He's ready for the step up to Super League and will add some quality to our squad. That's all for now. We'll have more later. These are your latest sports news headlines. I'm Alex Jack. We start with the football headlines on this Thursday morning, and Paris Saint-Germain will face Arsenal in the final of the Champions League in Budapest on May 30th. That's following a 1-1 draw against Bayern Munich in Bavaria for the second leg, PSG going through 6-5 on aggregate. It was PSG who opened the scoring inside the 3rd minute. Ousmane Dembele getting on the score sheet. Bayern Munich tried to get themselves back into the tie. Harry Kane scored in the 94th minute, but it was too little too late as PSG progressed through to face Mikel Arteta's Arsenal. Well, looking ahead to the action tonight in Europe, Aston Villa take on Nottingham Forest at Villa Park in the UEFA Europa League semi-final 2nd leg. Forest leading by a 0-0 after the 1st leg at the City Ground. Meanwhile, Freiburg host Sporting Braga, with that game also taking place at 8 o'clock. Braga leading 2-1 after the 1st leg in Portugal. Meanwhile, there's also UEFA Conference League action. Crystal Palace hold a 3-1 advantage going into their 2nd leg against Shakhtar Donetsk at Selhurst Park. Meanwhile, Rayo Vallecano take a 1-0 lead from the 1st leg into their 2nd leg trip to Strasbourg. Moving on to cricket news now, and Kyle Jamieson and Will O'Rourke have returned from injury to bolster a strong New Zealand pace attack for next month's Test series in England. And also a one-off test against Ireland. Jamieson has not played a test since 2024 after back issues, while O'Rourke, another tall seamer, last featured in August, having also sustained a back stress fracture. But both players are set to feature against England and Ireland. Batter Kane Williamson, who last played for the Black Caps in December after opting for a casual contract to pursue franchise opportunities, is also included in the squad. Moving on to rugby league news now. Bradford Bulls skipper Joe Mellor has extended his contract through to the end of next season with the Super League outfit. The 35-year-old loose forward joined the club on a 1-year deal last November after leaving Salford. The former Widnes and Lee man is currently sidelined due to a knee issue, but this is what he's had to say regarding extending his stay with the Bulls. I'm really happy to be staying. It's been really good since I arrived, especially coming back into Super League. Moving on to news concerning Huddersfield Giants, and they have signed Oldham Ruffians hooker Cole Agea on a loan until the end of the current campaign. The Australian has scored 5 tries in 14 appearances for the Championship outfit this term. He could make his Super League debut on Thursday against St Helens, and this is what interim coach Liam Finn had to say regarding his signing. We're really pleased to have Cole a part of this group. He's ready for the step up to Super League and will add some quality to our squad. That's all for now. We'll have more later. These are your latest sports news headlines. I'm Alex Jack. We start with the football headlines on this Thursday morning, and Paris Saint-Germain will face Arsenal in the final of the Champions League in Budapest on May 30th. That's following a 1-1 draw against Bayern Munich in Bavaria for the 2nd leg. PSG going through 6-5 on aggregate. It was PSG who opened the scoring inside the 3rd minute. Ousmane Dembele getting on the score sheet. Bayern Munich tried to get themselves back into the tie. Harry Kane scored in the 94th minute, but it was too little too late as PSG progressed through to face Mikel Arteta's Arsenal. Well, looking ahead to the action tonight in Europe, Aston Villa take on Nottingham Forest at Villa Park in the UEFA Europa League semi-final 2nd leg. Forest leading by a 0-0 after the 1st leg at the City Ground. Meanwhile, Freiburg host Sporting Braga, with that game also taking place at 8 o'clock. Braga leading 2-1 after the 1st leg in Portugal. Meanwhile, there's also UEFA Conference League action. Crystal Palace hold a 3-1 advantage going into their 2nd leg against Shakhtar Donetsk at Selhurst Park. Meanwhile, Rayo Vallecano take a 1-0 lead from the 1st leg into their 2nd leg trip to Strasbourg. Moving on to cricket news now, and Kyle Jamieson and Will O'Rourke have returned from injury to bolster a strong New Zealand pace attack for next month's Test series in England. And also a one-off test against Ireland. Jamieson has not played a test since 2024 after back issues, while O'Rourke, another tall seamer, last featured in August, having also sustained a back stress fracture. But both players are set to feature against England and Ireland. Batter Kane Williamson, who last played for the Black Caps in December after opting for a casual contract to pursue franchise opportunities is also included in the squad. Moving on to rugby league news now. Bradford Bulls skipper Joe Mellor has extended his contract through to the end of next season with the Super League outfit. The 35-year-old loose forward joined the club on a one-year deal last November after leaving Salford. The former Widnes and Lee man is currently sidelined due to a knee issue, but this is what he's had to say regarding extending his stay with the Bulls. I'm really happy to be staying. It's been really good since I arrived, especially coming back into Super League. Moving on to news concerning Huddersfield Giants, and they have signed Oldham Ruffians hooker Cole Gaya on a loan until the end of the current campaign. The Australian has scored 5 tries in 14 appearances for the Championship outfit this term. He could make his Super League debut on Thursday against St Helens, and this is what interim coach Liam Finn had to say regarding his signing. We're really pleased to have Cole a part of this group. He's ready for the step up to Super League and will add some quality to our squad. That's all for now. We'll have more later. These are your latest sports news headlines. I'm Alex Jack. We start with the football headlines on this Thursday morning, and Paris Saint-Germain will face Arsenal in the final of the Champions League in Budapest on May 30th. That's following a 1-1 draw against Bayern Munich in Bavaria for the second leg, PSG going through 6-5 on aggregate. It was PSG who opened the scoring inside the 3rd minute. Ousmane Dembele getting on the score sheet. Bayern Munich tried to get themselves back into the tie. Harry Kane scored in the 94th minute, but it was too little too late as PSG progressed through to face Mikel Arteta's Arsenal. Well, looking ahead to the action tonight in Europe, Aston Villa take on Nottingham Forest at Villa Park in the UEFA Europa League semi-final second leg. Forest leading by a 1-0 after the first leg at the City Ground. Meanwhile, Freiburg host Sporting Braga, with that game also taking place at 8 o'clock. Braga leading 2-1 after the first leg in Portugal. Meanwhile, there's also UEFA Conference League action. Crystal Palace hold a 3-1 advantage going into their second leg against Shakhtar Donetsk at Selhurst Park. Meanwhile, Rayo Vallecano take a 1-0 lead from the first leg into their second leg trip to Strasbourg. Moving on to cricket news now, and Kyle Jamieson and Will O'Rourke have returned from injury to bolster a strong New Zealand pace attack for next month's Test series in England, and also a one-off test against Ireland. Jamieson has not played a test since 2024 after back issues, while O'Rourke, another tall seamer, last featured in August, having also sustained a back stress fracture. But both players are set to feature against England and Ireland. Batter Kane Williamson, who last played for the Black Caps in December after opting for a casual contract to pursue franchise opportunities, is also included in the squad. Moving on to rugby league news now. Bradford Bulls skipper Joe Mellor has extended his contract through to the end of next season with the Super League outfit. The 35-year-old loose forward joined the club on a one-year deal last November after leaving Salford. The former Widnes and Lee man is currently sidelined due to a knee issue, but this is what he's had to say regarding extending his stay with the Bulls. I'm really happy to be staying. It's been really good since I arrived, especially coming back into Super League. Moving on to news concerning Huddersfield Giants, and they have signed Oldham Ruffians hooker Cole Gaya on a loan until the end of the current campaign. The Australian has scored 5 tries in 14 appearances for the Championship outfit this term. He could make his Super League debut on Thursday against St Helens, and this is what interim coach Liam Finn had to say regarding his signing. We're really pleased to have Cole a part of this group. He's ready for the step up to Super League and will add some quality to our squad. That's all for now. We'll have more later. These are your latest sports news headlines. I'm Alex Jack. We start with the football headlines on this Thursday morning, and Paris Saint-Germain will face Arsenal in the final of the Champions League in Budapest on May 30th. That's following a 1-1 draw against Bayern Munich in Bavaria for the second leg, PSG going through 6-5 on aggregate. It was PSG who opened the scoring inside the 3rd minute. Ousmane Dembele getting on the score sheet. Bayern Munich tried to get themselves back into the tie. Harry Kane scored in the 94th minute, but it was too little too late as PSG progressed through to face Mikel Arteta's Arsenal. Well, looking ahead to the action tonight in Europe, Aston Villa take on Nottingham Forest at Villa Park in the UEFA Europa League semi-final second leg. Forest leading by a 1-0 after the first leg at the City Ground. Meanwhile, Freiburg host Sporting Braga, with that game also taking place at 8 o'clock. Braga leading 2-1 after the first leg in Portugal. Meanwhile, there's also UEFA Conference League action. Crystal Palace hold a 3-1 advantage going into their second leg against Shakhtar Donetsk at Selhurst Park. Meanwhile, Rayo Vallecano take a 1-0 lead from the first leg into their second leg trip to Strasbourg. Moving on to cricket news now, and Kyle Jamieson and Will O'Rourke have returned from injury to bolster a strong New Zealand pace attack for next month's Test series in England, and also a one-off test against Ireland. Jamieson has not played a test since 2024 after back issues, while O'Rourke, another tall seamer, last featured in August, having also sustained a back stress fracture, but both players are set to feature against England and Ireland. Batter Kane Williamson, who last played for the Black Caps in December after opting for a casual contract to pursue franchise opportunities, is also included in the squad. Moving on to rugby league news now. Bradford Bulls skipper Joe Mellor has extended his contract through to the end of next season with the Super League outfit. The 35-year-old loose forward joined the club on a one-year deal last November after leaving Salford. The former Widnes and Lee man is currently sidelined due to a knee issue, but this is what he's had to say regarding extending his stay with the Bulls. "I'm really happy to be staying. It's been really good since I arrived, especially coming back into Super."
From a 2-1 away win against Dynamo Kiev in the league at the weekend under Riznik and Matvieyenko keep their places, but both teams are unchanged from the first leg, so a lot of similar names and faces for either side this evening, just a different venue at Selhurst Park. For the Eagles, it's skipper Dean Henderson in goal, a back three of Chris Richards, Maxence Lacroix and JD Canvot, Daniel Munoz on the right and Tyreek Mitchell on the left as wing-backs. Adam Wharton is partnered by Daichi Kamada in the middle, and it's Ismail Assar, Jean-Philippe Mateta and Jeremy Pino who lead the line for the Eagles this evening, whereas for Shakhtar it's Dimitro Riznik in goal, a back four of Vinicius Tobias, Valerie Bondar, skipper Mykola Matvienko and Pedro Enrique, and midfield three of Pedrinho, Marlon Gomez and Oleg Ocheretko. And it is a warm welcome to this evening's independent off-tube studio commentary of all the action from Selhurst Park, as it is the second leg of the Conference League semi-finals. Crystal Palace hosting Shakhtar Donetsk, a 3-1 aggregate lead for the Eagles coming into this, which will be pretty confident ahead of this tie. Looking forward to this one. Having to defend early on here though with Shakhtar. Nice ball into the middle, intercepted well though by Richards. Wharton, first time into mid-setter. 5 changes for the Eagles coming into this game. They were defeated 3-0 by Bournemouth, of course, at the weekend. Comfortable win for the Cherries, but you can imagine that Glasgow's Eagles had a little bit of an eye on something else coming into that weekend clash and coming into tonight. Sarr quickly down the right for Munoz. I'm sure they'd love an early lead here, would the Eagles. Wharton didn't see it into the box, looking maybe for the run of Sarr there. Too much on it. Into the arms of Dimitro Riznik it goes. I'll bring you the lineups and all the changes in just a moment. But it's myself, Lewis Rafter, I'm joined by Johnny Holmes, taking through all the action of this evening. And Johnny, big 3-1 win away from home, quite impressive from Palace. I thought, didn't see the game unfortunately, saw the highlights afterwards, but it's impressive. And now it's about, look, as long as we do our job, we're in a final in a few weeks' time.
Absolutely, you'd say 1 foot in the final for Crystal Palace, for the Eagles. I mean, we're already further into this game without a goal than we were into the last one. Of course, Sarr got the fastest goal in Conference League history. It's short history, but it was 21 seconds. So what a flying start it was. They'll be hoping that they can build on that. But it's just get in that final. It doesn't matter how you do it now, just get in that final.
Yeah, I mean, they could even lose, of course, this evening, realistically, by a goal. They're in the final act. It's not really the performance, it's the result of how you get there this evening. You're spot on with that. Shakhtar with some early possession, down the right-hand side with Tobias, ball into the area, edge of the area, strike comes in and it just goes wide, dragging it wide, almost there. Like Elias, he was the man who scored last week for Shakhtar. Arda Turan, the former Atleti and Barcelona player, giving a round of applause there. And I know it's early on, tensions high, they're already sitting back a little bit. Will that be a little bit of a worrying early sign for Glasgow that, yes, it was dragged wide, but that was quite easy for Shakhtar to move through Palace there?
Yeah, it is a warning sign, and I think when you're ahead on aggregate, it's easy to go into defensive mode, but I think what you have to try and do is treat it as an individual game. You know, imagine that it's back to square one, and you've got to, you know, go out there and still try and win it, try and compete. What Palace can't afford to do is sit back, give Shakhtar some momentum, because then the belief and, you know, the opposition belief starts to set in, and the worry starts to set in for you, and that's when things can get out of control.
Ball at the back. Shakhtar quickly then the lineups as they do just have the ball at the feet of Bondar for Palace for the weekend. 5 changes, as I say. In come the likes of Canva. Will bring it in a moment as forward come Donetsk again. Ball into the box. Strike at goal. Saved by Henderson that time. Eguinaldo, my colleague who was on the game last week, said he was quite lively on that left hand side. And once again, what I will say, I was maybe 5-6 seconds in between the ball being at the back. He was just offside. I'm not sure if the linesman has put his flag up, but play devil's advocate, if the ball was in the back of the net, it would have been given as an offside. But once again, I mean, you're spot on. You don't want to come in with too much of a defensive mentality. Maybe even Palace thinking, look, first 10-15 minutes, I know we're the home side, but there's going to be a bit of a storm to it because Shakhtar want to come out of the gates, get a goal early. Maybe Glasgow's looking at, right, first 10-15 minutes will be the underdogs, but and then go from there, maybe. Yeah,
quite possibly. And also, I mean, the flip side of that is, this is kind of how Palace approached the first leg. I mean, Shakhtar had 71% possession in the first leg, but only created 2 big chances to Palace's 5. Only had 1 shot to Palace's 7. So this perhaps is how Palace are approaching this tie as a whole.
I mean, usually Glasgow's done a great job at Selhurst Park, of course, but they do sit back and they're not a very possession side either. They've got some great technical players, but they're more defensive and hit on the counter, use set pieces and that kind of thing. Down the left hand side, Richards wants it to go out and play for a goal kick. Eguinaldo nearly gets there, but Richards does the job and it's out of play for a goal kick. As I say, 5 changes for the Eagles. In comes Canvok, Mitchell, Wharton, Sarr and Mateta, whereas Shakhtar 9 changes from the weekend's 2-1 win against Dynamo Kiev. Only Riznik and Matvienko keep their places. From the first leg, they are unchanged on both sides, so very similar faces off against this evening. Quickly, it's Henderson, the skipper, in goal for Palace. Back three of Richards, Lacroix and Canvok. Mitchell off the left, Munoz off the right. Wharton and Kamada as the 2 holders in midfield. Sarr, Mateta, Pino as the forward 3. And Kamada picks it up just inside the Shakhtar half, driving forward. Jeremy Pino back to Kamada, great interception at the back there from Tobias. He's looking to clear his lines. A few step overs. There is a Shakhtar player down at the other side of the field, so I believe the referee is just going to bring a pause to play. I want to say it's Matvienko, the skipper this evening. He went up for a header, watching it back. He's got all eyes on Munoz and Munoz's right boot, watching it back. As Munoz is coming down, his right leg is been outstretched a bit awkwardly. Does catch Matvienko on the side of the head, so that could be a sore one there, so will be a pause in playing a stop. And Shakhtar have the ball, so there's their right to stop it, but head injury as well. The referee brings it to a pause. Quickly on the Shakhtar 11. Riznik is in goal. Back four of Tobias, Bondar, skipper Matvienko and Pedro Enrique. Gomez, Ochereka and Pedrinho. The midfield 3. Alisson Santana, Elias and Eguinaldo as a forward 3 for Arda Turan's side. Of course, we're not the only game on this evening. 3 other semi-finals to determine the Europa League and the Conference League finals. In the Europa League, Villa, Forest, of course, and Freiburg against Braga, as well as the other semi-final, who will be facing the winner of this game, Strasbourg and Rayo Vallecano. Those other 3 games you can catch on this service as well. Goalless between all of them. I think we're only just maybe 6 under 5 minutes in all of them. But myself and Johnny will do our best to keep you updated with all the scores elsewhere when they're going, but our focus, of course, is here at Selhurst Park. Just over 6 minutes played, goalless. Palace 0, Shakhtar 0. Independent off Tube Studio commentary. Warm welcome if you're joining us just shortly after kick-off. And for Palace as well, what's quite important, at least to me, is in terms of the table and everything, they're very much safe as well, so they can, at the 3-0 at Bournemouth, maybe if they were in a relegation scrap or going for Europe, you think you can't afford to drop players, and then you come into this game, whereas the weekend they still were fairly strong, but really the 5 that have come in, are probably maybe the 5 best players, maybe Lacroix and Henderson, you'd argue. So, yeah, you lost 3-0 to Bournemouth, but now it's very well rested, and your job is to get to the final of this, and they could do that this evening, of course.
Absolutely, yeah. I think for Crystal Palace, you want to go out there and put all of your eggs into this basket almost, I would say. This competition is a fantastic opportunity for them to build some real history for the club. I mean, European pedigree is not something you could previously say that Crystal Palace have had. What a huge night this is for them, and I just hope that doesn't weigh on the shoulders. You know, they've got this lead. They're so close with this, you know, about 83 minutes of this game to go. Just have to make sure they keep their wits about them here.
On the ball, Kamada driving forward. Great play from the midfielder, Pino. Back heel to Mitchell, still has the ball. Kamada back on it. He's been lively so far this evening. Of course, him and Wharton. I think Kamada's a little bit better, a little bit deeper when he's in that one of the attacking midfielders. I think he can get a little bit lost, but when he's been given the opportunity in the deeper role, he looks a lot better. Now Palace have the ball, and this is what they do well, is they don't have possession, but they will slow it down, and once it gets into a Sarr or a Pino, that's when you see the real pace of the side come alive. Wharton back to Lacroix. Quickly, there has been a red card for Braga in their game against Freiburg, so Braga hold a 2-1 advantage and have Freiburg the home side as well. And I think they think we can win that game. Well, they've got a man advantage, and basically for the full 90 minutes, give or take, as well. Ball in the middle by Matt Vienco, but then it's quickly lost. Picked up now. Mateta has it, driving forward as option. Tries to play a ball for Sarr. It was an awkward one and a very hard one. Defended well though at the back there by Bonda. He's only cleared away only as far as Lacroix. Palace will get back on the ball, and Palace so far when they win it in the middle, Kamada's drove forward a few times. Mateta there, he's one of them, that's an eye of the needle kind of pass. If it works, looks great, but very hard to pick up. But already Palace have kind of comfortably got in a, not rhythm, but found the feet in the game.
Yeah, it's when Kamada gets the ball on the turn, they look really dangerous. I just think that ball from Mateta possibly didn't quite make the right decision. He did have Mitchell over on the left-hand side, a bit of an overload on that left-hand side, so could have just threaded it into him. But yeah, Palace looking dangerous, and forward they come again.
Ball over the top to Pino, first few touches, being closed down, striker, goal! And Crystal Palace inside 10 minutes have the lead on the evening, and a massive 3-goal advantage, 4-1 lead on aggregate. We were already speaking about the transitions, that's where they can get at him. Jeremy Pino, great finish. Vinicius Tobias doing as well as he could, the fullbacks getting them, stop him. First few touches, I thought maybe Pino got it caught between his feet, and he did a little bit, and he dragged it, but dragged it in a good way into the bottom corner. Great start for Palace. They lead 1-0 on the night, 4-1 on aggregate.
Yeah, they've started really well again. You know, if they had one foot in a European final, they've got plenty of their bodies in now. I mean, what a position Crystal Palace are in. What a fantastic start, and just what Glasner would have wanted.
100%. What would you say? 8 toes, 9 toes?
Yeah.
The big nearly there. Again, it was just Richards plays a ball forward from Mateta, of course, just slowing it down and seeing any offside. Mateta then, he flicks it onto Pino. He's very close. I do think he is just on. We didn't see a still for the header from Mateta onto Pino, but it's direct. But that's what you can do when you've got the likes of Jean-Philippe Mateta in your side. He's not the greatest of seasons for Palace, but he's kind of hitting form at the right time. And I think as well, for me, he's a player who, he likes competition. He likes being kept on his feet. And I think Strand Larsen coming in January is almost gone, if I don't perform, I will get dropped, I will be rested, but here and there. Whereas when he was a main man, he was playing great, but he knew he wasn't going to get dropped, or if he was, it for Nketiah, he was out of form, never really hit going at Selhurst Park. There is just a check for the goal, so we'll wait a moment for that. But as soon as competitions come in, I think Mateta's gone back to his level, and it's almost again giving him that, well, if I don't get going, they will drop me.
Competition is really, really important. I mean, you need to have that motivating factor, don't you? And also, Strand Larsen, he's a top player. He scored his first European goal last time out in the first leg of this game. It was a lovely dinked finish. So, you know, it's just for Crystal Palace generally as well. Fantastic to have those options, that strength in depth in this competition. And as we're still waiting for this goal check, it must be quite close on the lines.
Yeah, we're assuming so. Goal review, VAR. I do believe no
goal.
No goal. So we saw on our pictures the still of the ball forward for Mateta from Chris Richards. It was close. I think it was onside. We didn't see a still of Mateta heading to Pino. Again, very close. As you said, the longer it takes, usually UEFA, I think that was very quick compared to what we've seen in the past in the Premier League and elsewhere. But the start, it's just been quelled. Maybe Shakhtar now, they can bounce back ball over the top. Nearly a mistake at the back from Richards and Lacroix. Shakhtar continue to come forward. It's cleared away. yes, they're still 2 goals down, 3-1 on aggregate for Palace or Shakhtar, but that would have almost, you could see the players' heads. There was a picture of Matvienko, you just saw him almost go, oh no, that's the worst start. Yes, they're still 2 goals down, but that must be a bit of a lifeline that, yes, it's ruled offside correctly, but they'll go, okay, let's go for it, maybe that's our chance.
Yeah, it's a lifeline and it's a wake-up call for Shakhtar. They know they have to get this first goal. If they concede, as they did there momentarily, they're in huge, huge trouble. They're already in trouble. They're trying to come forward now, though. Cross into the box is overhit.
Is it overhit? Munoz trying to let it go on a play for another goal kick. He has to clear his lines. So it is goalless here if you're just joining. Just over 12 and a half minutes played at Selhurst Park. Left-hand side comes Shakhtar. And Guinaldo looking for space. Goes back to his full-back Enrique. Decent ball comes in. Overhead kick there.
Whoa.
Really worked. That would have been one of the goals of the tournament.
Acrobatic.
That was a half-decent ball, wasn't it? But I want to say it was Elias who got there. It might have been Alisson Santana. Didn't catch the player who it was. I want to say it was number 30, Alisson Santana. We'll see Shakhtar playing with an off-white cream kit, and then you've got gold numbers on the back. So for commentators, not always the best. Trying to look at boots, maybe of what they've got on, but that would have been a world-class goal. And Shakhtar, once again, Palace, they've still found the feet. I'm not saying that. It's been a very good opening to the game, just over 13 minutes in. But Shakhtar do look dangerous when they come forward.
They do, yeah, and they've probably shaded in terms of possession as well. And, you know, they've got Elias up there, they've got Alisson, Eguinaldo looking lively on the left-hand side. It's not a bad side. Let's not forget they are runaway Ukrainian league leaders. I mean, this is, you know, they're not too shabby. So I think Crystal Palace, they've got to have their wits about them.
100%. As you said, 10 points clear at the top of the league and at the weekend. Say they've made 9 changes coming into this. They've made 9 changes and they beat Dynamo Kiev at the weekend 2-1. And not up to date with the Ukrainian Super League, but I know Dynamo Kiev in history have been quite a top team in that competition, and they've been in Europe a hell of a lot of times in the Champions League, of course, as well. Shakhtar still have the ball on the left-hand side. Back to Valery Bondar. Vinicius Tobias on the right-hand side. Still goalless elsewhere as well. Like I said, Braga do have a red card in the game against Freiburg, but it is still goalless everywhere else, including here. We've had a goal, but given offside due to VAR. Ball out to the left. Pedro Enrique brings it down. 1-2, Matvienko. Nice ball into the box to find his teammate. Eguinaldo, ball into the back, sticks just over. They can't clear it. Mateta gets there. Mateta's brought down. The referee's going to try and play advantage. He's playing it on. Pino looks to play it long for Sarr. Enrique will get there. The advantage is definitely gone now. It's just more Mateta still down in a heap. I think he's bringing it back. He might actually even give the foul still. First yellow card of the evening. And it is going to the Shakhtar Donetsk defender. I believe it is Valery Bondar, the number 5. Was a lovely ball into the middle there. Pedrino just finding space, and it was not really a chance, but they just couldn't clear the lines there, and it is a late one on Mateta.
It is a late one, deserves a yellow card, studs are showing as well, but yes, Shakhtar are looking dangerous here, aren't they? They've got pace on the width, and if they can keep whipping those balls in, they will be causing problems for those Crystal Palace defenders, and it's not been a bad start. Here we go, we're getting a replay of the disallowed goal. It's very tight, isn't it?
My word, I can't believe... So, of course, as well, everyone will know UEFA lines. There's a red and a blue line. The red is usually the attackers, the blue is the defenders. The red and yellow are almost at the same length. That is very close to me. I know we don't like to get too opinionated on these, but I just don't think that is an offside. I know it's automated and stuff. It's that close to me that that's hard to say a player is offside personally.
Well, I mean, they're always talking about it, aren't they? The offside rule, about maybe making it a bit less, you know, bringing an element of doubt into it, like they used to be before VAR. Now it's very mathematical. So yeah, I mean, Wenger's had a few words to say on it. He's trying to bring in a possible situation where it's the score. Is it the scoring foot has to be onside? So it'll be intriguing to see what happens there. But as things are. That's going to come too late for Crystal Palace tonight.
It is. You're right. I believe it's, for example, if your right foot is offside and you hit it with your right foot, you're offside. If your left foot's onside, hit it with your left foot, but your right foot's offside, it counts. I like the idea of it. It's complicated. It's the kind of thing, but there are some you see that are that close. Ooh, that's very hard to say. If you think it's offside, I wouldn't argue with you, but I'd also say that's really close for me to. If the referee's given in the game, I think that's hard to rule out as they would always say. Shakhtar though confidently moving the ball around. Left hand side, Guinaldo plays it to Bondau. Picked up a yellow card. Space, I thought he might unleash a strike there. To Vinicius to Tobias, ball into the box. Nice idea. The outside over the right foot. And everyone is inside the half of Crystal Palace. Everyone is there. While the goalkeeper isn't. I can imagine he's not on his goal line, for example. Nice idea with the ball, very similar to last game, as you said, dominant possession of Shakhtar. But you can just see if Palace win it with a midfielder, put a few passes together. Shakhtar, rightfully so, you're 3-1 down, committing bodies, but you just feel Palace can still hit them on a counter.
Yeah, I think that's what Glasner will have said. It worked last time. Last time out it was 71 possession. I think it was 63% there, 64% for Shakhtar so far this game. I think Glasner's saying it worked. Let's hit them on the break. We know we can soak up the pressure. Possibly doesn't see a threat. Although I have to say, Enrique and Eguinaldo on that left-hand side, they're looking dangerous, aren't they? They're sort of doubling up and overloading. So yeah, I think Palace have got to be careful. Conceding that first goal, heads can drop. We've seen it before.
They can take momentum as well, Shakhtar. If they get that first goal, you spoke about if Crystal Palace get it, heads will drop, you spot on. If Shakhtar get it, they also know, right, depending on when you get it, play devil's advocate, you get it in the first half, right, we've got 45 minutes just to get a goal, and they would get momentum. Maybe Palace respond, though, it's not too sure. They do have the ball to Shakhtar with Matvienko just inside the Palace half. Throwing players forward from right to left, looking for a pass to Pedro Enrique, intercepted by Munoz, but does find its way to the left back. And you spoke about them doubling up. I can imagine when you play wing backs, you kind of have to get in behind them. Can be very awkward sometimes. Right hand side with Vinicius Tobias. Back into Matvienko. Both the centre-backs, I'm thinking, must go for a strike at one point. He's been backtracked by Watson, trying to press him down. Goes back to the goalkeeper, Riznik. So the two centre-backs and the goalkeeper having most of the possession at the moment. Quick update, we've got our first goal in the semi-finals. Well, we thought we had a first goal here, but so we'll wait for confirmation. But Freiburg have taken advantage of having extra man. They lead Braga 1-0 in the second leg. That puts them 2 apiece as well, and perhaps you'd say man advantage over 60 minutes, 80 minutes to go really from when the red card was given. The home side will be a lot of confidence that they can go on and win that game and find themselves in a final. Mitchell battling away against Tobias, he does well. Ball across the face of goal, no one's there. Wharton's going to try and keep it in play, no he can't. Guinaldo will pick up the ball. Lovely piece of play from Mitchell, he just continued to fight and fight and fight for that. Fantastic play in the end. Is that a foul against Guinaldo? Maybe a soft one by Richards giving away there, but I know he's pushing and pulling on him. But Mitchell there, first of all, I think the defender does well to, it was bad defending, but does well not to bring him down a penalty because Mitchell was doing ever so well. But that's just saying to Mitchell, that went past 3-4 of his teammates. Do they have to do better? Because I think that's a great ball from Mitchell.
Yeah, Mitchell does really well. He's battling away, isn't it? And he managed to win it and then fizz it across. Oh, yeah, you've got Mateta in there. You've got several players in there. But here comes Shakhtar. Ooh, I tell you what, that was a chance, wasn't it? On the right-hand side, Alisson just couldn't bring it under control, could he?
Lovely. It was one of them where that chest control either falls or you say lovely. Just off more his shoulder, wasn't it? And it fell nicely to Dean Henderson. But again, Shakhtar, so far in the game, quick look at the stats, we're only just over 20 minutes in. They've had 4 shots or 1 on target. Palace have yet to have one, of course. The goal they scored was offside, so that's chalked off any stats. But they're getting that half chances, getting in good positions. Shakhtar, that's another one. Won't go down necessarily as a chance, but they are getting in behind this Palace defence. Just over 20 minutes played, as I said. It's goalless at Selhurst Park. Palace 0, Shakhtar 0. 3-1 on aggregate to the Eagles, but Shakhtar have been dominant and the more positive side. They have to, so it's what we expected. But at the same time, Palace do look ever so dangerous. They've got ball Matvienko, Wharton pressing down, and what they are trying to do off the ball as well, Palace, when they're defending. The defensive midfielders in command of Wharton given a bit more responsibility to press up and try and win the ball back. Yeah,
absolutely. And I think the most dangerous that Palace have looked is as I said earlier, Kamada turning with the ball, but also that pressing from the front three and, as you say, Wharton, Kamada. That's when they can sort of turn the ball over. If Shakhtar are going to have more of the ball as we expect and as they have done so far, Palace could be at their most dangerous when they do make those interceptions and transition quickly.
On the left-hand side, Guinaldo looking for space. Matvienko, 1-2, Pedro Enrique. They are really doubling up. Lovely ball into the box. Heads go up. Finds Alisson on the right-hand side. Back to Tobias. Strike on goals. Blocked away. Hit it sweetly. Not not sure if it was going on target. It was bound for at least somewhere close to the goal. Well blocked away by Canvor in the end. And do get away one there, Palace. Alisson, I thought he was going to go for the shot play. Nice pass to Pedrinho, but then he was almost covered as well by defenders. Shakhtar still have the ball halfway into the Palace half. Great start from Arda Turan's side. Tobias on the right into Alisson. He's been great so far. One-on-one with Mitchell. Takes it past him. Still going. Ball into the box. Is he taken down? Does he take a deflection off of the wing back? Yes, it does. So it will be the first corner for Shakhtar.
Shakhtar looked more dangerous in this leg than they did last time out. It looked, last time out, yes, they had a lot of the ball, but they didn't really ever look like creating. They didn't really ever look like they were threatening Crystal Palace, but they look threatening here at Selhurst Park.
I can imagine as well those two big centre-backs coming up in Bondar and Matvienko. Ball comes into the back sticks. Richards heads it up only into the box. Matvienko, nice touch to bring it down, but just too many blue and red jerseys there. Sarr dinks it away. It does well. He dinks it off of the Shakhtar defender, puts it out for a throw-in for Palace as well. So good defensive play from the forward there. You can see Palace are putting a lot into this first half performance. Just feel maybe if it continues where Shakhtar, how they're playing so positively, you think they're going to create one at least big chance, and it's kind of, as you said, do they take that and the heads drop and go from there kind of thing.
Yeah, and it's crazy as well, the difference between Palace getting that early goal, that being given. I mean, the whole dynamics of the game changed, because yes, Palace have got a 2-goal lead. That's a very comfortable lead. Well, it's a pretty comfortable lead, but still 0-0 on that score line on the night, different 90 minutes, you know, anything is possible. And overhit ball there into the gloves of Riznik in the Shakhtar goal.
As you said, you were spot on. It's as niche as it comes, but that's what commentators would say. The first goal this evening will be massive. If Shakhtar get it, you're spot on. The Palace heads might drop. They might change their mentality. Shakhtar will take that on. If Palace do score, as they already have, ruled out for VAR offside, I'm sure their confidence would be quite through the roof, and they just accept the game as it comes. Shakhtar being the more positive side and still have the ball on the right hand side with Tobias. Trip of the heels there by Pino. Yes, referee's going to bring it back. Thought he was going to allow an advantage there for Alisson to drive down the right hand side. Pino is usually somebody, he's a good presser, but sometimes he's still young. The former Villarreal man can sometimes just be a little bit too eager to win the ball, and does have a clip of the heels as he does. Then free kick taken quick, and Bondar has it out to the right to Tobias. Alisson looking again very lively. As Johnny's already spoke about, that looks like another foul. Referee's not going to give it, and Pino might hit on a counter attack here down the left hand side. Slows it down and brings it into the feet of Wharton. Lovely first time pass out to Munoz. Can he find a ball into the box? Will he continue to go himself? Slows it down. Wharton turn. He might go for a strike here. He does. Forced a great save out of the keys. Hit on a counter. I'm sure Shakhtar going back to what they wanted, a free kick on Alisson a good few minutes ago. Swift counter attack by Palace. Quick first time passes. Pino into Wharton, back out to Munoz, finds it once again. Lovely drop of the shoulder by the Palace midfielder. Great strike at goal. Munoz again will have to maybe have a look. Is he onside from the strike at goal? I believe Munoz just puts it back across the face of goal, and anyone between Matvienko, the keeper, Riznik and Banda just took a touch, deflected off the inside of the post and in the back of the net. Palace lead 1-0 on the night. Johnny, let's have a replay.
That's a lovely, lovely ball swept out wide by Wharton. He gets it back here, takes a touch around his man, has a go. It's beaten away by Riznik. He does well to get it out wide, and it's a deflection, isn't it? It's deflected into the back of the net off the Shakhtar player, I think. Yeah, it's saved well by Riznik, and is it Enrique that it hits and bobbles into the back of the net? Unfortunate, yes it is. It's Pedro Enrique, and it just bobbles off the far side post and into the back of the net. You take these though, don't you? You take these.
I mean, you said by hook or crook, Palace will take whatever. It's so unlucky because Munoz is trying to put it back in an area. It hits the inside of the knee, near the thigh, if you will, of Enrique. That curls it past the keeper, curls it onto the inside of the post and into the back of the net. So when you see own goal for Pedro Enrique, I do feel for the left back a little bit.
Yeah.
Shakhtar though, I don't know if the referee and VAR will think sequences of play. That foul by Pino, they wanted one on Alisson. They will probably question the referee The only question now, did that go? Are we in another sequence of play, unfortunately, for Shakhtar?
I think we might well be. It looks like this goal has been given. No sign of a VAR check. It seems like whenever Crystal Palace come forward and show any sort of threat, they put the ball in the back of the net. I mean, they've had the ball in the back of the net twice now. The first one was chalked off for a very, very tight offside. This one looks like it's been given. And even though Shakhtar have been the better side, and this is against the run of play, as they're looking possibly to make changes already, they've got to go for it, haven't they? But Crystal Palace have shown that they've actually got the end product here.
Yeah, they have 100%. Just waiting to see who's coming on. Even though you spawn, they've got to go for it. I want to say it's a defender who's coming on in Graham at number 18. At least I definitely saw.
Tobias
is coming off, and it will be Graham number 18. So 17 off, number 18 on. Didn't limp off or anything. Again, you see now, this is weird thing because you're spot on. That you've got to go for it, but you also don't want to go for it too much, do you? But I will say we're well past halfway point. We lead Crystal Palace 1, Shakhtar 0 this evening. Independent off-tube studio commentary of the semi-final second leg. Palace lead 1-0 on the evening. Own goal from Pedro Enrique, 4-1 on aggregate. Near enough in the final. I'll pass it over to Johnny though to take us through to half time.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I'm a bit surprised by that substitution actually. Graham coming on the right. I thought Tobias looked really lively on that right hand side. I'm thinking that perhaps that was an enforced substitution. I mean, what do you reckon, Lewis? To me, why would you make that change?
I think it's spot on. We saw a picture of him leaving the field, didn't look injured, but at the same time you've got to say, because he's also started really lively, as you say, Palace won the ball, here they come. Yeah,
Kamada coming forward, that's where they look dangerous, but he's been well intercepted by Osheretko there, but Mateta's won it back for Palace and goes for goal, and it's a fairly routine save in the end, but I tell you what, Shakhtar were all at sea there. It looked like they dealt with it as forward came Kamada, and then Osheretko just running into trouble. Mateta takes his shot. He doesn't really connect as he'd want to, and Riznik's able to make a fairly comfortable save. But yeah, whenever Crystal Palace come forward, they're looking threatening, aren't they?
They really are, and maybe as well now they're thinking around the next 5 or 10 minutes, if we can get a second on the night, that really, they're not going to come back by 4, you would think. I know 3 is still 3 goals, but if Shakhtar get one before half time, you're back level, kind of hits you, doesn't it? Maybe they get one late on, takes momentum into the second half. It's all ifs and buts. Palace have been really good. I think Shakhtar have been really good, if I'm honest. But Palace just, if we're being maybe honest, maybe just have the quality players, but they're coming forward down the right.
Yeah, that razor sharpness for Palace is shining through, but it's a clattering challenge on the right-hand side there, and still down here is that Alisson, who is still down for Shakhtar Donetsk, rolling around, head in hands. I don't think it is Alisson, in fact. Is that Graham, the man who's just come on? Well, they don't want to lose him as well. I mean, this would be a very quick cameo if he does have to go off, but he's waving his arms in the air. The referee comes over. It might be a head injury, and he does look like he's in some discomfort, doesn't he?
He does. I think you're right. Looks like a head injury. We'll watch, as you say. It is a big tackle coming over from Campbell. There is a high elbow.
There is a high elbow.
And I would wonder, would VAR check that?
I have to say, he does come charging in, Canvo, with an elbow raised to number 23 for Crystal Palace. And he does certainly catch Graham, who's just come onto the pitch. As on our independent off-tube screens panning away, he's still down, still in some discomfort as far as we can see. And the game has now got underway, so he seems to be okay. And in fact, he's just taken the free kick, so he must be okay. Bonda finds Matvienko. Shakhtar have got to do something. That's now 4-1 on aggregate, 1-0 to Crystal Palace on the night. Enrique on the left-hand side, back inside to Matvienko. And now Bonda. As once again, Shakhtar with this delicate build-up, with more possession, but they lose it once again. Sarr now tries to set off on that right-hand side and thread it through towards Munoz, but it was overhit by Sarr. It looks like the script is written, isn't it? Palace sit back and Shakhtar dominate the ball, and when they lose it, they get hit on the break.
100%, and as you say, Gladstone quite happy to do that. And again, maybe if this was 3-1 Shakhtar coming to this, you'd see a different mentality, and that's what he's built here in just over 2 years, really, isn't it, for Glasgow, that his team, they can be a possession side, they can attack, they can counter, they can do everything, and they win the ball, and everyone wants to fly forward. Wharton's got it, here they come. Yeah,
that's exactly what they're looking to do here with Munoz on the right-hand side. Goes backwards to Wharton. They just might look to slow it down. It's been quite a frantic last few minutes. So here is Kamada on the ball, just trying to slow it down. Finds Richards on the right hand side. His side's gone down. Has Sarr? Has he been clipped? Is he going to win a free kick? No, he's not. It will be a throw in to Shakhtar. The captain Matvienko with that challenge, but nothing doing, says the referee. We'll see a replay of it here. Sarr. Well, he does look like he was clipped. The question is, did he get a foot on the ball there, Matvienko? He didn't quite see. Glasner will be unhappy with that decision, but he'll be happy with the fact that he's got a goal on the board. Crystal Palace lead 1-0 on the night and are cruising on aggregate.
100%. And I can imagine maybe the game plan as well, right? Maybe half time. Can we have a 1-0 lead on the night? That'll be positive for us to take into the second 45. They are winning it really well in the middle. Kamada and Wharton, and then the wing backs being a little bit too much. Kamada sprays it out to the right, and here come Palace. It's a great defensive header.
Yeah, Munoz couldn't quite win that one, but it was a nice raking ball out onto the right-hand side by Kamada, who I really like the look of Palace when he's on the ball. He seems to be the tempo setter. He seems to be the one who receives it and looks to make things happen. It has gone down as a Pedro Enrique own goal. Desperately unlucky for him. I mean, you know, that ball just deflects off him and goes between his goalkeeper and the post. It's kind of whipped back in by Munoz, deflects off Pedro Enrique and curls between the two posts off the far side post, and just desperately unlucky that's how it ended up from a Shakhtar point of view. But Palace are coming forward now with Munoz on the right hand side. He'll have a go, but it's straight into the gloves of Riznik. But Munoz once again, he didn't get that first goal, but he had a big part to play in it, and he's definitely steaming forward on that right hand side. But will they be vulnerable on that right hand side now? It's the left for Shakhtar as they come forward. It's going to be deflected goalwards on the right hand side. Alisson checks inside, shoots, blocked and cleared away. Shakhtar are still dangerous, aren't they? And they come forward again with the number 10 Pedrinho out wide to the left hand side. Enrique, Eguinaldo goes goalwards. Oh, what a finish that is! Curls it into the top right hand corner, and Shakhtar are still alive in this contest. That was a beautiful finish, and they looked dangerous throughout that whole build up, and they quickly get back because they want to take every little second, make sure that they give themselves every chance of getting back into this game. But that was a lovely finish and lovely build up play.
It was. What a touch of the finish. Dean Henderson, he might as well be a statue in that goal. But as you say, lovely build-up play. Shakhtar at the pure minimum deserved the goal this evening in the first half. He curls it. He's up in there. Lovely pass from Enrique. First touch on his right boot from Eguinaldo. No one closed him down. Curls it into the top corner. Henderson's almost looking like that's going to go. Oh no, it's going in the back of my net. I thought that was going wide. What a goal that is. It's his first in the Conference League this season. His 9th for the season.
Oh!
Palace are coming forward straight over a shot that just goes wide. For the neutral and us watching it, I'm happy Shakhtar scored to keep it alive, because if Palace scored 2, it's probably game over. I mean, what a first just opening half an hour we've had. Yeah,
it's been end to end. I mean, Sarr there just the ball dropped beautifully for him, and he struck it on the volley with some venom, and Riznik's very happy to see that one fade past his post. But I just want to talk a little bit more about that finish from Eguinaldo, and it's the two that linked up who have been really dangerous on the left-hand side, Enrique and Eguinaldo. But that touch that he took, the number 7 Eguinaldo, to sort of pop it up off the ground and then just curl it into the top corner, a peach of a finish. And it's Shakhtar who are actually coming forward again now with Alisson, who finds a cross. It's deflected behind. It will be a corner. It's Convo. It came off, and I tell you what, Shakhtar are coming forward. Canvo, the number 23, deflects it behind, and Shakhtar all of a sudden are looking really, really dangerous in this game. Pedrinho will take the corner, the number 10. He'll look to whip it in under the Selhurst Park lights, and he does just that, but it's well dealt with. It's cleared away by Henderson, helped forward with the punch by Dean Henderson, and then cleared away, and Kamada chases, and Palace will win a throw. I tell you what, it's end to end, isn't it?
Oh, it is, and I mean, like you said, going back to that finish, I think what Glasgow will be disappointed is if Eguinaldo took that first time in your curly goal, it's the first time after the start of the event. It's a lovely first touch of the finish, as you rightfully pointed out, but it is a touch. You're giving him, 3 or 4 seconds in the penalty area, and you have 3 centre midfielders, you have 2 defensive midfielders. I think Glasgow will think, he'll be looking at the team going, look, that is an exceptional finish, but how no one has closed him down and blocked the shot, that's what might be a little bit of a disappointment. But watching that, I'm happy no one did, because it was a lovely goal to watch. You point out very early on that Enrique and Eguinaldo on the left hand side are running havoc. That's where the goal came from, assisted by the left back, scored by the left winger. But both as well on the right hand side. I know that Tobias went off, but he was doing well. Alisson, because of the wing backs, are almost saying to the three midfielders, you sit a little bit deeper, but we're going to double up on that right and left hand side, and it's causing Palace a lot of problems.
They've got real pace on the wings, and they come forward again now. Aguinaldo, Enrique out on the left hand side, tries to find a cross, but it will be cleared away by Richards. But it's once again collected by Bondar, and forward will come Shakhtar once again, who have looked dangerous in this first half. They've equalised. Crystal Palace thought they led earlier than they did. It was ruled out for offside. Then they did get awarded a deflected opener, but Shakhtar are now level, and coming forward down on the left hand side goes Aguinaldo. He's clutching his lower ankle, but away will come Crystal Palace with it, but it's a loose pass by Sarr, and Shakhtar will collect now with Gomez, who's dropped quite deep, the number 6, to collect the ball, and now Shakhtar will look to slow it back down. The referee's pulled it back, it seems, but free kick will be taken quickly, and away will go Shakhtar once again on this right-hand side with Alisson, who now plays it in field, looking for Bondar. Bondar now finds Matvienko, the captain, brings it forward, and will look to the left-hand side. The left-hand side that's been dangerous so far for Shakhtar, but they're just slowing it down a bit, maybe getting a little breather. It has been fast-paced so far, hasn't it? As here is Bondar. Will he look to go long? It looks like he will. Yes, he does. Incisive pass to Aguinaldo, the goal scorer. Whipped in slightly behind Alisson, but he takes the shot and just slices it over. But it's another attempt on goal for Shakhtar, and these attempts must be piling up. And at what point, Ole Glasner, does he start thinking, maybe I'm going to have to change this before it gets away from me?
100%. If Shakhtar get a second goal, we've got 7 minutes or 45 minutes and then stoppage time. If they get a second lead, 2-1, I mean, at the moment you'd say they're going to take momentum out of there into the second half, I would say so anyway. So they're looking really confident at the moment, and watching the goal in slow motion to make it look even better. First touch, he actually takes a touch, bobbles it in the air, which makes it nicer to hit, doesn't he? He's not hitting it off the surface, he's hitting it nicely there. Lovely goal, and Shakhtar have won the ball again. Here they come. Yeah,
they're coming forward again, and then once again it's that left-hand side with Enrique. They're looking really dangerous whenever they get the ball, and they switch it now onto the right with Graham, the substitute who came on earlier, replaced Tobias, who was looking lively, but he's still an outlet on this right-hand side, is Graham. And it's now Matvienko, the captain, goes out wide to Enrique, who combined with Aguinaldo for that Shakhtar equaliser. It's spread out wide now to Graham, and he's underhit that pass a little bit, and it's going to be mopped up and tidied away by Mitchell. But Shakhtar will come again with Bondar, who plays it in field to Matvienko, and now Enrique, and they'll look for that again on that left-hand side. It's now with the number 10, Pedrino, who tried to link up with Aguinaldo, and they'll win the throw in. They are linking up really well, aren't they, Shakhtar? Some nice passing.
Yeah, that midfield three, Pedrinho and Gomez, just being allowed to free roam anyway, find pockets of space. You know that Churecko, he's just going to sit. He's going to do the dirty work, if you will. You two go help your wingers out, get into the box, find spaces, make it hard for Wharton and Kamara to follow you. Lovely ball at Aguinaldo. Here comes Shakhtar.
Yeah, Aguinaldo again. He'll look for the cross this time. It's deep. It's very searching, but it's going to be nodded behind by Canvo, and it will be a corner once again to Shakhtar Donetsk, the Ukrainian league leaders, the runaway leaders who are trying to climb their way back into this game. They're 4-2 down on aggregate, but they are level on the night. Went behind, but their heads didn't drop, and they were able to get a beautifully taken equaliser by Aguinaldo, curling it into the top corner. And he's the man who will, it's Alisson actually, who will whip this corner in. And it will go out behind for another one. They're actually claiming for handball there. There's quite a few appeals. Around 6 players from the Shakhtar Donetsk side have gone to the referee claiming handball. We'll probably see a replay. It's Mateta, I think, who the claims are going to be geared towards. The referee just tries to calm everything down. It's Captain Matvienko. Let's have a little look at this. And it does definitely hit the arm of Mateta. It kind of flicks up off his knee. I mean, it happens at close quarters. It's quite fast-paced. There is a potential penalty check. What do you reckon on this one?
I think it would be quite harsh.
Check over.
Only because it comes off his right thigh first. If that had have hit his left elbow first, clear handball, as you say, because it does clearly come off his arm. It's one that comes off his thigh and quickly hits it. Corner taken short.
Yeah, corner has been taken short, and it's going to be fired over by Alisson. Was that a cross? Was that a shot? Well, he put a lot of venom into it, but yeah, it's always high, always rising. Do you think Arda Turan, the Shakhtar boss, will be happy with what he's seen so far?
I think so. I think, again, realistically, it's an unfortunate mistake for Pedro Enrique's own goal, isn't it? I think he'll be disappointed with the attack because Wharton's great shot. It was a lovely move, wasn't it? As you said, that first time pass from Wharton to Munoz, then he dropped it. It was all about Wharton was the goal, but then Munoz puts it back across, takes a deflection that curves past your goalkeeper off your left back's knee, off the post and in the back of the net.
What can you do?
Exactly, that's just one of them where if we could have stopped the attack, that's what he'll be bothered about. When it gets there, you go, look, there's not much we can do. Could have Enrique closed Nunes down, maybe, but you just feel that Munoz, again, that's maybe closing him down. It's bad from Enrique, but how the goal goes in the back of the net, but how they've responded, and if I'm honest, apart from that and the offside goal, so that's two things, but two things in 42 minutes. They've been fantastic of Shakhtar. They're playing some good stuff and coming forward, they're getting ball over the top. Richards will deal with it. They've given Palace a right good goal this evening. Yeah,
they really have, and definitely been on top. And they might have stolen it just behind Richards there, who was caught napping and actually won a corner. So Richards trying to take his time in his own box, not the sort of place you want to be taking your time. And he's quickly closed down by Eguinaldo, who does really well to win a scrappy corner. And Shakhtar, late into this first half, 42 minutes have been played, are going to look to try and get their noses in front on the night. It's going to be whipped in. It's near post, and it's scrambled away by Crystal Palace. And Shakhtar, that actually is Pino who's able to grab it and play it forward towards Wharton, who tries to help it on with the backwards header, but Shakhtar have collected, and now they will look to come forward on this left-hand side. They go infield to Matvienko, the captain, raking forward now onto the right-hand side with Graham, the substitute. Now he finds Alisson, who just stumbles, loses his footing, and it's dealt with by Canvo, who now plays it infield to Lacroix. And it's forward now, looking for Mateta, but well dealt with by Bonda. And Shakhtar once again recycle possession and look to come forward with a bypassing ball forward to Elias, who's dropped a bit deeper to grab it, and he wins a throw-in for his side. Applause for that intervention by Elias, who sort of drops deep. We haven't seen that too much so far, the target man sort of dropping deep to collect, but he does well there, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. I think, if anything, unfortunately, just because the wingers have been so good, they've been the focal point, it's actually taken a bit away from him, hasn't he, unfortunately? As you said, he's linking up play, and again, very similar to what Gomez and Pedrinho are doing, Elias, he's having a lot of movement, so the Palace defenders can't really work with him. When you're up against a back three, you kind of need that, because if you sit there, unless you are a big physical striker, and Haaland or Sesko, it's awkward to do your 3v1 all the time. If you drop off, the defenders don't know where you are. Forward come Palace again.
Yeah, Canvo finds Kamada, and now on this right-hand side with Sarr, he's got the overlap of Munoz, who was influential in that first goal, in towards Mateta, who goes acrobatic and hits the post. What an effort that is by Mateta, sort of the scissor bicycle kick. The ball is behind him from Munoz. He does ever so well to adjust his body and slams it against the post. What a goal that would have been.
I mean, we've already seen the acrobatics. It was Alisson earlier, wasn't it? His was more of an overhead kick. That time it was Mateta, just as you say, acrobatically trying to hit it on a volley. Great strike from the French striker. We can't hear it's independent off-tube studio commentary. I can imagine the noise of that pause. It was still vibrating around Selhurst Park. Great chance there from Mateta. And again, similar to they just played that long ball forward. Mateta's just been caught there, be a free kick. When you know he's there, Munoz was behind him, as you say. What a great ball, but when you know you got Mateta there, it's almost I'm just going to put it in this area, and my striker can get on the end of it, and that's the confidence you get with a forward like Mateta or a Strand Larsen.
Yeah, inventive as well that was by Mateta. As the board goes up, there will be 3 added minutes. And what's been a really entertaining first half for the neutrals, Shakhtar have refused to go away. Crystal Palace thought they'd taken the lead. That first goal was ruled out for offside, but then they did take the lead. A deflected own goal by Enrique, but a lovely finish by Eguinaldo, created by Enrique, got Shakhtar back level on the night. It's 4-2 to Palace on aggregate as it's fired in deep, and it's towards Canvo, and it's going to be cleared away. It's deflected behind for a goal kick to Shakhtar, who, Riznak is trying to hurry it along a little bit. And he just slows down as he jogs back towards the 6-yard area. But Mateta, what an effort that was with the flying, acrobatic scissor bicycle kick. It's sort of lofted up. There's not a lot of pace on it, so he has to generate that pace himself with a sweeping swing of his right boot, and it just curls slap bang onto the post, and it would have been beautiful, wouldn't it?
It would have, and I think that's maybe the only problem with Munoz. It wasn't that he was behind him, it's actually floated. If maybe the ball's got a bit more pace on it, Mateta doesn't get that torque and turn. But he's got to do that, and then maybe the placement of the strikes are a little bit less. Again, to give credit, Elias is more of a target forward, but he's not the physical force at Mateta. He's giving the defenders hard work with long balls. I mean, in the last few moments, and both sides, as you said, it's been great to watch so far in this first half. You're just hoping that, I know maybe Palace might sit back a little bit more in the second half, but look, Shakhtar, if they keep coming forward as they are, they'll still create chances.
Yeah, they have been a danger, and they're not out of this at all. As forward comes Canvo with the ball, now finds Mitchell on this left-hand side, plays it back to the number 23, Canvo, and now infield to Kamada, who will go to his right with Lacroix. Now to Richards, as he nearly loses out there, but it is recycled by Palace and now fired into that left-hand side, but overhit there. That's Adam Wharton, who just tries to drill one out to the left-hand side, but he overhits it. And early on in this game, when Crystal Palace were looking more dangerous than they perhaps do now, Wharton seemed like a bit of a focal point, but since then he's sort of drifted in and out of this game. We haven't seen much of him, have we?
No, we haven't. Basically, that goal, I think you're spot on. The goal was all Adam Wharton, wasn't it? But the rest of the game, I think you pointed out Kamada. Kamada's been fantastic. He's been more of that real standout central midfielder. And I think because they've done more defending, Wharton is a more defensive midfielder. He plays there, but he's a defensive midfielder who gets things ticking over. Kamada's an all-rounder in that position. Shakhtar looking to come forward. One last time, was in a foul on Sarr, I believe it is. So
yeah,
that might be the last piece of action for the first half.
Yeah, I think Crystal Palace have survived with only one goal conceded. It could have been more, to be honest. Shakhtar have been very, very good. Certainly had the lion's share of possession and shots in this first half, but Crystal Palace did get their noses in front. As the whistle now goes, those 3 minutes of added time have been played, and it is 1-1 at Selhurst Park. Crystal Palace took the lead, an unfortunate deflected goal off Enrique, but he created Shakhtar's equaliser, a beautiful curling finish by Eguinaldo. It's 4-2 on aggregate, it's 1-1 on the night.
Half-time at Selhurst Park, and on the evening it is Crystal Palace 1, Shakhtar Donetsk 1. 4-2, the Eagles lead on aggregate. They thought they took the lead from Yeremy Pino in 10 minutes, but offside through VAR was given. Palace did take the lead, though, unlucky for Shakhtar, ball into the box, an unlucky deflection from Pedro Enrique, ended up in the back of his own net, but he teed up Edwin Aldo for a lovely curled effort to keep Shakhtar, and it's 1-1 at half-time. Palace lead 4-2 on aggregate. Half-time at Selhurst Park, and on the evening it is Crystal Palace 1, Shakhtar Donetsk 1, 4-2, the Eagles lead on aggregate. They thought they took the lead from Yeremy Pino in 10 minutes, but offside through VAR was given. Palace did take the lead, though, unlucky for Shakhtar, ball into the box, an unlucky deflection from Pedro Enrique, ended up in the back of his own net, but he teed up Edwin Aldo for a lovely curled effort to keep Shakhtar, and it's 1-1 at half-time. Palace lead 4-2 on aggregate. Half-time at Selhurst Park, and on the evening it is Crystal Palace 1, Shakhtar Donetsk 1, 4-2, the Eagles lead on aggregate. They thought they took the lead from Yeremy Pino in 10 minutes, but offside through VAR was given. Palace did take the lead, though, unlucky for Shakhtar, ball into the box, an unlucky deflection from Pedro Enrique, ended up in the back of his own net, but he teed up Edwin Aldo for a lovely curled effort to keep Shakhtar, and it's 1-1 at half-time. Palace lead 4-2 on aggregate. Half-time at Selhurst Park, and on the evening it is Crystal Palace 1, Shakhtar Donetsk 1, 4-2, the Eagles lead on aggregate. They thought they took the lead from Yeremy Pino in 10 minutes, but offside through VAR was given. Palace did take the lead, though, unlucky for Shakhtar, ball into the box, an unlucky deflection from Pedro Enrique, ended up in the back of his own net, but he teed up Edwin Aldo for a lovely curled effort to keep Shakhtar, and it's 1-1 at half-time. Palace lead 4-2 on aggregate. Half-time at Selhurst Park, and on the evening it is Crystal Palace 1, Shakhtar Donetsk 1, 4-2, the Eagles lead on aggregate. They thought they took the lead from Yeremy Pino in 10 minutes, but offside through VAR was given. Palace did take the lead, though, unlucky for Shakhtar, ball into the box, an unlucky deflection from Pedro Enrique, ended up in the back of his own net, but he teed up Edwin Aldo for a lovely curled effort to keep Shakhtar, and it's 1-1 at half-time. Palace lead 4-2 on aggregate. Half-time at Selhurst Park, and on the evening it is Crystal Palace 1, Shakhtar Donetsk 1, 4-2, the Eagles lead on aggregate. They thought they took the lead from Yeremy Pino in 10 minutes, but offside through VAR was given. Palace did take the lead, though, unlucky for Shakhtar, ball into the box, an unlucky deflection from Pedro Enrique, ended up in the back of his own net, but he teed up Edwin Aldo for a lovely curled effort to keep Shakhtar, and it's 1-1 at half-time. Palace lead 4-2 on aggregate. Half-time at Selhurst Park, and on the evening it is Crystal Palace 1, Shakhtar Donetsk 1, 4-2, the Eagles lead on aggregate. They thought they took the lead from Yeremy Pino in 10 minutes, but offside through VAR was given. Palace did take the lead, though, unlucky for Shakhtar, ball into the box, an unlucky deflection from Pedro Enrique, ended up in the back of his own net, but he teed up Edwin Aldo for a lovely curled effort to keep Shakhtar, and it's 1-1 at half-time. Palace lead 4-2 on aggregate. Half-time at Selhurst Park, and on the evening it is Crystal Palace 1, Shakhtar Donetsk 1, 4-2, the Eagles lead on aggregate. They thought they took the lead from Yeremy Pino in 10 minutes, but offside through VAR was given. Palace did take the lead, though, unlucky for Shakhtar, ball into the box, an unlucky deflection from Pedro Enrique, ended up in the back of his own net, but he teed up Edwin Aldo for a lovely curled effort to keep Shakhtar, and it's 1-1 at half-time. Palace lead 4-2 on aggregate. Half-time at Selhurst Park, and on the evening it is Crystal Palace 1, Shakhtar Donetsk 1, 4-2, the Eagles lead on aggregate. They thought they took the lead from Yeremy Pino in 10 minutes, but offside through VAR was given. Palace did take the lead, though, unlucky for Shakhtar, ball into the box, an unlucky deflection from Pedro Enrique, ended up in the back of his own net, but he teed up Edwin Aldo for a lovely curled effort to keep Shakhtar, and it's 1-1 at half-time. Palace lead 4-2 on aggregate. Half-time at Selhurst Park, and on the evening it is Crystal Palace 1, Shakhtar Donetsk 1, 4-2, the Eagles lead on aggregate. They thought they took the lead from Yeremy Pino in 10 minutes, but offside through VAR was given. Palace did take the lead, though, unlucky for Shakhtar, ball into the box, an unlucky deflection from Pedro Enrique, ended up in the back of his own net, but he teed up Edwin Aldo for a lovely curled effort to keep Shakhtar, and it's 1-1 at half-time. Palace lead 4-2 on aggregate. Half-time at Selhurst Park, and on the evening it is Crystal Palace 1, Shakhtar Donetsk 1, 4-2 the Eagles lead on aggregate. They thought they took the lead from Yeremy Pino in 10 minutes, but offside through VAR was given. Palace did take the lead though, unlucky for Shakhtar, ball into the box, an unlucky deflection from Pedro Enrique, ended up in the back of his own net, but he teed up Edwin Aldo for a lovely curled effort to keep Shakhtar, and it's 1-1 at half-time. Palace lead 4-2 on aggregate. Half-time at Selhurst Park, and on the evening it is Crystal Palace 1, Shakhtar Donetsk 1, 4-2 the Eagles lead on aggregate. They thought they took the lead from Yeremy Pino in 10 minutes, but offside through VAR was given. Palace did take the lead though, unlucky for Shakhtar, ball into the box, an unlucky deflection from Pedro Enrique, ended up in the back of his own net, but he teed up Edwin Aldo for a lovely curled effort to keep Shakhtar, and it's 1-1 at half-time. Palace lead 4-2 on aggregate. Half-time at Selhurst Park, and on the evening it is Crystal Palace 1, Shakhtar Donetsk 1, 4-2 the Eagles lead on aggregate. They thought they took the lead from Yeremy Pino in 10 minutes, but offside through VAR was given. Palace did take the lead though, unlucky for Shakhtar, ball into the box, an unlucky deflection from Pedro Enrique, ended up in the back of his own net, but he teed up Edwin Aldo for a lovely curled effort to keep Shakhtar, and it's 1-1 at half-time. Palace lead 4-2 on aggregate. Half-time at Selhurst Park, and on the evening it is Crystal Palace 1, Shakhtar Donetsk 1, 4-2 the Eagles lead on aggregate. They thought they took the lead from Yeremy Pino in 10 minutes, but offside through VAR was given. Palace did take the lead though, unlucky for Shakhtar, ball into the box, an unlucky deflection from Pedro Enrique, ended up in the back of his own net, but he teed up Edwin Aldo for a lovely curled effort to keep Shakhtar, and it's 1-1 at half-time. Palace lead 4-2 on aggregate. Half-time at Selhurst Park, and on the evening it is Crystal Palace 1, Shakhtar Donetsk 1, 4-2 the Eagles lead on aggregate. They thought they took the lead from Yeremy Pino in 10 minutes, but offside through VAR was given. Palace did take the lead though, unlucky for Shakhtar, ball into the box, an unlucky deflection from Pedro Enrique, ended up in the back of his own net, but he teed up Edwin Aldo for a lovely curled effort to keep Shakhtar, and it's 1-1 at half-time. Palace lead 4-2 on aggregate. Half-time at Selhurst Park, and on the evening it is Crystal Palace 1, Shakhtar Donetsk 1, 4-2 the Eagles lead on aggregate. They thought they took the lead from Yeremy Pino in 10 minutes, but offside through VAR was given. Palace did take the lead though, unlucky for Shakhtar, ball into the box, an unlucky deflection from Pedro Enrique, ended up in the back of his own net, but he teed up Edwin Aldo for a lovely curled effort to keep Shakhtar, and it's 1-1 at half-time. Palace lead 4-2 on aggregate. Half-time at Selhurst Park, and on the evening it is Crystal Palace 1, Shakhtar Donetsk 1, 4-2 the Eagles lead on aggregate. They thought they took the lead from Yeremy Pino in 10 minutes, but offside through VAR was given. Palace did take the lead though, unlucky for Shakhtar, ball into the box, an unlucky deflection from Pedro Enrique, ended up in the back of his own net, but he teed up Edwin Aldo for a lovely curled effort to keep Shakhtar, and it's 1-1 at half-time. Palace lead 4-2 on aggregate. Half-time at Selhurst Park, and on the evening it is Crystal Palace 1, Shakhtar Donetsk 1, 4-2 the Eagles lead on aggregate. They thought they took the lead from Yeremy Pino in 10 minutes, but offside through VAR was given. Palace did take the lead though, unlucky for Shakhtar, ball into the box, an unlucky deflection from Pedro Enrique, ended up in the back of his own net, but he teed up Edwin Aldo for a lovely curled effort to keep Shakhtar, and it's 1-1 at half-time. Palace lead 4-2 on aggregate. Half-time at Selhurst Park, and on the evening it is Crystal Palace 1, Shakhtar Donetsk 1, 4-2 the Eagles lead on aggregate. They thought they took the lead from Yeremy Pino in 10 minutes, but offside through VAR was given. Palace did take the lead though, unlucky for Shakhtar, ball into the box, an unlucky deflection from Pedro Enrique, ended up in the back of his own net, but he teed up Edwin Aldo for a lovely curled effort to keep Shakhtar, and it's 1-1 at half-time. Palace lead 4-2 on aggregate. Half-time at Selhurst Park, and on the evening it is Crystal Palace 1, Shakhtar Donetsk 1, 4-2 the Eagles lead on aggregate. They thought they took the lead from Yeremy Pino in 10 minutes, but offside through VAR was given. Palace did take the lead though, unlucky for Shakhtar, ball into the box, an unlucky deflection from Pedro Enrique, ended up in the back of his own net, but he teed up Edwin Aldo for a lovely curled effort to keep Shakhtar, and it's 1-1 at half-time. Palace lead 4-2 on aggregate. half-time at Selhurst Park, and on the evening it is Crystal Palace 1, Shakhtar Donetsk 1, 4-2 the Eagles lead on aggregate. They thought they took the lead from Yeremy Pino in 10 minutes, but offside through VAR was given. Palace did take the lead though, unlucky for Shakhtar, ball into the box, an unlucky deflection from Pedro Enrique, ended up in the back of his own net, but he teed up Edwin Aldo for a lovely curled effort to keep Shakhtar, and it's 1-1 at half-time. Palace lead 4-2 on aggregate. Half-time at Selhurst Park, and on the evening it is Crystal Palace 1, Shakhtar Donetsk 1, 4-2 the Eagles lead on aggregate. They thought they took the lead from Yeremy Pino in 10 minutes, but offside through VAR was given. Palace did take the lead though, unlucky for Shakhtar, ball into the box, an unlucky deflection from Pedro Enrique, ended up in the back of his own net, but he teed up Edwin Aldo for a lovely curled effort to keep Shakhtar, and it's 1-1 at half-time. Palace lead 4-2 on aggregate. Half-time at Selhurst Park, and on the evening it is Crystal Palace 1, Shakhtar Donetsk 1, 4-2 the Eagles lead on aggregate. They thought they took the lead from Yeremy Pino in 10 minutes, but offside through VAR was given. Palace did take the lead though, unlucky for Shakhtar, ball into the box, an unlucky deflection from Pedro Enrique, ended up in the back of his own net, but he teed up Edwin Aldo for a lovely curled effort to keep Shakhtar, and it's 1-1 at half-time. Palace lead 4-2 on aggregate. Half-time at Selhurst Park, and on the evening it is Crystal Palace 1, Shakhtar Donetsk 1, 4-2 the Eagles lead on aggregate. They thought they took the lead from Yeremy Pino in 10 minutes, but offside through VAR was given. Palace did take the lead though, unlucky for Shakhtar, ball into the box, an unlucky deflection from Pedro Enrique, ended up in the back of his own net, but he teed up Edwin Aldo for a lovely curled effort to keep Shakhtar, and it's 1-1 at half-time. Palace lead 4-2 on aggregate. Half-time at Selhurst Park, and on the evening it is Crystal Palace 1, Shakhtar Donetsk 1, 4-2 the Eagles lead on aggregate. They thought they took the lead from Yeremy Pino in 10 minutes, but offside through VAR was given. Palace did take the lead though, unlucky for Shakhtar, ball into the box, an unlucky deflection from Pedro Enrique, ended up in the back of his own net, but he teed up Edwin Aldo for a lovely curled effort to keep Shakhtar, and it's 1-1 at half-time. Palace lead 4-2 on aggregate. Half-time at Selhurst Park, and on the evening it is Crystal Palace 1, Shakhtar Donetsk 1, 4-2 the Eagles lead on aggregate. They thought they took the lead from Yeremy Pino in 10 minutes, but offside through VAR was given. Palace did take the lead though, unlucky for Shakhtar, ball into the box, an unlucky deflection from Pedro Enrique, ended up in the back of his own net, but he teed up Edwin Aldo for a lovely curled effort to keep Shakhtar, and it's 1-1 at half-time. Palace lead 4-2 on aggregate. Half-time at Selhurst Park, and on the evening it is Crystal Palace 1, Shakhtar Donetsk 1, 4-2 the Eagles lead on aggregate. They thought they took the lead from Yeremy Pino in 10 minutes, but offside through VAR was given. Palace did take the lead though, unlucky for Shakhtar, ball into the box, an unlucky deflection from Pedro Enrique, ended up in the back of his own net, but he teed up Edwin Aldo for a lovely curled effort to keep Shakhtar, and it's 1-1 at half-time. Palace lead 4-2 on aggregate. Half-time at Selhurst Park, and on the evening it is Crystal Palace 1, Shakhtar Donetsk 1, 4-2 the Eagles lead on aggregate. They thought they took the lead from Yeremy Pino in 10 minutes, but offside through VAR was given. Palace did take the lead though, unlucky for Shakhtar, ball into the box, an unlucky deflection from Pedro Enrique, ended up in the back of his own net, but he teed up Edwin Aldo for a lovely curled effort to keep Shakhtar, and it's 1-1 at half-time. Palace lead 4-2 on aggregate. Half-time at Selhurst Park, and on the evening it is Crystal Palace 1, Shakhtar Donetsk 1, 4-2 the Eagles lead. And it's a warm welcome back to this evening's independent off-tube studio commentary of all the action from Selhurst Park as Crystal Palace take on Shakhtar Donetsk in the second leg of the Conference League semi-final. It is one apiece on the evening. Palace open the lead. Unlucky deflected effort from Pedro Enrique, goes past his goalkeeper into the back of his own net, but a lovely finish. Enrique assisting, so at least getting a little bit of vengeance back. Iguinaldo, lovely first time touch onto his left boot, curling effort that curled all the way from the outside under the post into the top corner. Great finish from the 21-year-old Brazilian. And it is one apiece, finally poised. Palace do lead comfortably 4-2 on aggregate, but we've seen crazier things happen in football. If we get anything close to that first 45, I think myself and Johnny will be in for a good second half. And it's myself, Lewis Raftery, joined by Johnny Holmes, to take you through all of this second half action. Bring you the lineups in just a moment. There has been a substitution for Shakhtar to boot as well, but they are coming forward are the Ukrainians. Enrique floats one into the back post, played back to a decent area. Kamada gets there first, and once again, the more Shakhtar open this game up, the more Palace will want this game opened up. Into Pino, spreads it wide to Daniel Munoz. Down the left hand side is where Shakhtar have got most of their hope and play, but also that's where Palace got their goal to a degree. Great play from Wharton. So I'll take you through the 11s in a moment. Palace do have the ball, but Johnny, we were speaking at half time off the air that if we get anything close to the first 45, we'll be very happy. And both teams, they're very much in it, and they want to make a good game out of it.
Yeah, it was a really enjoyable first half. It was end to end. Both sides look up for it. Shakhtar dominating the ball and having the most chances and attempts on goal. But whenever Palace broke forward, they looked dangerous. And I think it's worth saying as well, 4-2 the aggregate lead for Palace. It's the old cliche, a 2-goal lead can be a dangerous one as Palace come forward with Wharton here.
In the penalty area, box it back to the left hand side to Mitchell, back to Pino. He did have the ball in the back of the net 9 minutes into the game, but was given for an offside for the young Spaniard. Wharton, lovely ball to an on-run Mitchell. Can he find a cross in? It's floated. Up goes Mateta, send it away only as far as Wharton on the edge of the area. Opens up for a strike, deflected away. Finds Munoz, pokes it through, cleared off of Mateta, and the clearance finds the kind arms of Riznik in the Shakhtar goal. Munoz trying to stab anything at it. He just doesn't get enough on it, unfortunately. That he's cleared off Mateta. It's lucky because that could have absolutely anyway. Almost bobbles up of his right boot. Goes up in the air, Riznik comes out and claims it there, but once again, defensively, I think Kamada's been great for Palace, but in an attacking sense, when Wharton can pick his passes, basically Palace's goal, the system and the sequence went through him. Wharton's looking fantastic on the attack this evening.
Yeah, he is, and that beautiful ball out to the right, I remember that faded ball out that helped create that goal. But, I mean, any real meaningful contact by Mateta, and that's probably a second goal for Palace, as Shakhtar are now coming forward here, and it's cleared away by Wharton. But yes, that was a bit of a pinball moment in the box, wasn't it? And, just no one quite able to lay a claim on it and really get meaningful connection towards goal.
I would say as well is, of course, got to mention that Mateta did hit the post in the first half as well. A great acrobatic effort that nearly, rattled the post at Selhurst Park. Wharton wins the ball in the middle. It goes out for a throw. And so quickly the lineups for Palace, they're unchanged from the first kick of the game. Skipper Henderson is in goal. Back three of Richards, Lacroix and Camvot. Munoz off the right, Mitchell off the left. Kamada and Wharton in the middle with Pino, Mateta and Sarr as a forward three. Whereas for the visitors, Riznik continues in goal. As the ball comes in from right to left, Munoz heads it away only as far as Pedro Enrique. The full Shakhtar lineups in just a moment. He goes back to his skipper, Matvienko. Back to his centre-back partner, Bondi. He's the only yellow-carded player so far. Ball dinked over the top. Palace do win it, but falls for a Shakhtar player. Edge of the area, ball is clipped in, looking for the on-run in Ochorekko, but too much on it there from the sub who came on. Is a cue. He's on for Alisson Santana. He's on the right hand side trying to dink a ball in there. Great idea, execution. It's always going to be awkward. That should be a foul against Ochorekko. Yes, it is. Just a clip and just maybe a bit too aggressive there on Kamada. So Palace can just calm things down. So for the visitors, Riznik is in goal. Back forward of Garam, who came on for Tobias in the first half. Yellow carded Bonda, skipper Matvienko and Pedro Enrique. Midfield three of Marlon Gomez, Ochorekko and Pedrinho. On the right hand side is a Q who's on for Alisson, Elias and the goal scorer Ed Winaldo. Referee this evening is Alejandro Hernandez, the Spanish official. Just over 5 minutes I should say, into the second half, and well, realistically we've just picked up where we left off. Still a great tempo.
Yeah, it's Shakhtar once again who have got more of the ball, but Palace, whenever they come forward, they do look dangerous. I would say this first 5 minutes has been a little bit more subdued, but we did have quite a ferocious first half, so I wouldn't, be surprised if these players just want to lower the tempo slightly, take a breather, and then things might start to explode. I mean, if we get a second goal for Shakhtar, for example, then it will have to explode, because, it's a bit of a kerfuffle at the back for Palace.
Striker goal saved by Henderson. Johnny was spot on there. No one knew what they were doing. Miscommunication going wild there, but Palace have cleared it forward to Mateta. Nods it down to Pino, driving forward. Mitchell will pick it up. He's brought down his Pino. Mitchell nearly brought down. He's still going forward. Shakhtar, nearly a bit of a cynical tackle there from Pedrinho. Kamada's going to drive forward with it. Is he taken down on the edge of the area? They want a free kick. Palace are going to continue. Ball in the box for Sarr. Mateta off the post, and it's in the back of the net. Or did the Frenchman not get a touch? Sarr definitely did. Palace have a second on the night. There was going to be an advantage. There was going to be a free kick. Great decision from the referee, Alejandro Hernandez. Kamada wanted the free kick. Palace did. Mitchell didn't stop. Great, once again, counter-attacking football from Palace. My only question is, did Mateta get a touch or not? Sarr definitely did, but Mateta's strike might have gone in off the post. Once again, Palace will not care. Deadly on the counter as per usual. The Eagles, just 52 minutes on the clock on the evening. Palace lead 2-1. Now a comfortable 3-goal lead on aggregate. 5-2, they lead.
They love an early goal in this tie to Crystal Palace. It felt to me like the Shakhtar players, they expected to be given a free kick against them a couple of times. There was an earlier one, I believe it might have been on Mitchell, and then Kamada goes down, it's whipped in, everyone's onside there, nothing wrong there, and it's actually poked in by Sarr and off the post. It's a really, really good finish at the near post to sort of direct it off his studs into the far corner, and there's nothing that Riznik can do about that one. But yeah, it just felt like maybe they switched off there when advantage was played. The Shakhtar players expecting the free kick to be given, the whistle never blew, you play to that whistle. Palace did that, and they have restored their lead on the night.
Fantastic finish, as you said. It was put forward, took a bobble inside the 6-yard box. I was thinking, has Mateta got a touch on that? But no, it's an excellent finish, as Johnny says, from Sarr. He's loving life in the Conference League this season. That is his 9th goal in the Conference League. 19 goals in all competitions, approaching 20. What a season he's had at Selhurst Park, 7 in the league. That's a very good return as well for a winger. Of course, he came in to replace Michael Elise. Big shoes to fill. I think he did well last season, and he's just found his feet even more this season, and he's been the man for the Conference League. As John already spoke about, he scored inside, what was it, 90 seconds?
Yeah,
in the first leg.
Fastest goal in Conference League history, that one. It was 21 seconds.
Less than 30 seconds. Wasn't it fantastic from Sarr? And since then, now you can see the Palace fans. I know they took a 1-0 lead and Shakhtar got back into it, but now it's later in the game, isn't it? There's that little bit of different mentality, I can imagine. You're thinking, right, we're close to the hour mark, close to half an hour left. Again, we can afford to even concede another one. We spoke about it. They can afford to even lose by a goal, and they can still come away with into the final. It's their inaugural season in Europe, and what a chance to go to a final. Glasner took them to the FA Cup final last year, won it. He won the Europa League in 21-22 with Frankfurt. What a way to, on his way out of Selhurst Park, to maybe give them their first ever European trophy.
He knows how to win trophies, doesn't he, this man? And that's possibly why Crystal Palace hired him, and it's worked out for them. This is definitely taking a very similar storyline to the first leg. I mean, Palace scoring early, Shakhtar coming back at them, and are we now going to see, in the same way we did in the first leg, Palace now sort of move away from Shakhtar, who have put up a fight as all very risky from Riznik there, just a little chipped dink over Mateta. I mean, that's a risky play, isn't it?
Very risky from Shakhtar, and to a degree, maybe they're thinking now is we've really got to take some risk. If Palace go and score a third on the night, fair enough. Okay, it's another 3-1 defeat, 6-2 on aggregate, I should say. Sorry, but we just need to go for broke now. We need to accept that we might concede a few now. In search of the next goal. I know we've said it a few times, but it is as spot on as you can get. The next goal is so important. Ball dinked over the top for Pedrinho. Can he keep it in play? I don't think he has. Ball back into the box. The linesman did not pull his flag up for a ball out of play. Goals off of a license and I'll play for a goal kick. Anyway, Shakhtar making 2 more changes, so you can imagine they will be on the attacking variety for Arda Turan. Lassina, Traore and Nuatan will be 2 of the players coming on. 2 players coming off. Elias will be the first one for Lassina Traore. So even though he's wearing number 2 on his back, he mostly plays as an attacker, or at least in the attacking areas, I should say. Just went for confirmation of who else is coming off for Nuatan to come on the field of play. At the moment it's just a striker for a striker. Ochineko coming off, so defensive midfielder and an attacker coming on, and you can see as well, they always say to players sometimes, I know they'll know we have to attack, But if a manager, without saying the mentality shift, if you're a midfielder and they bring a defender on, just instantly you might think, oh, he wants us to sit back more defensive. If you see a defensive midfielder come off and a striker and attacker come on, you know that Arlatran wants his side to attack more. And Johnny, in just a moment, ball forward. Pino, it's taken off his toes. Now Shakhtar coming forward. They've got to go for broke. As I said, down the right-hand side, Newerton, the substitute, does ever so well. Mitchell, does he win the ball? Referee says yes, good play from the wing-back. He's having a good game on the left-hand side. But even those players on the field now, we feel, no, my manager wants us to go for an attacking mentality now.
100%. It's strange to see a number 2 up front, isn't it? And that's exactly what we're seeing with Lassina Traore. But he's a big lad, isn't he? He's definitely physical, and I think balls into the box on his head or target man sort of play is what we're going to see now. Just get balls into him. He can hold it up with his back to goal, run off him. And Shakhtar have got to throw everything at this now. There's no point in sitting back. That's why they've made these substitutions. You've got to throw the kitchen sink at it. 3 goals behind on aggregate, 1 goal behind on the night. You've just got to go for it now.
You do. Former Ajax man as well, Lassina Traore, but actually it's in number 2 on the number 9's back. It looks a little bit different from what we used to see. Ball played forward. Wharton comes away with it, driving forward. Surprised he wasn't just cynically taken down there. Still driving. Mateta's making a nice run. Wharton, he makes a pass, and as soon as he made that pass, Mateta went more central. You could just see both of them going. It was just milliseconds apart from him. If Wharton holds it for another second, Mateta makes that run, he plays the pass in. If Wharton plays it a second earlier, Mateta's going to make that run. But you almost can just see that Shakhtar, they're fighting, but they're almost, players aren't even getting back because they're almost thinking that, no, I'm going to stay forward in case we do win the ball. And again, that might be something that they're saying, forward for it, Newerton, don't even come back. You just sit up there and try and outnumber them on a counter.
Yeah, quite possibly. I mean, as I said earlier, they've got to go for it, and Crystal Palace might be able to take advantage of that. There'll be lots of space, I'm sure, left in behind. But yeah, it's just a little bit of different wavelengths there for Mateta. And was it Wharton or Kamada who tried to play that ball in, and it didn't quite work out because, as you say, just as that ball threaded through, which looked like a lovely ball actually, Mateta sort of looks away and drifts central, so chance has gone, but it's Crystal Palace on the ball now.
Mitchell on the left-hand side, perhaps as well, 4 changes have been made for Shakhtar. I wonder when Oliver Glasner will look for changes, whether it's just changes to fresh legs, will it be to wrap people up in cotton wool? For example, Larson for Mateta's a great change anyway. Do you want to take Wharton off the field? Sarr? Do you want to keep them on to see the game out a little bit? I don't think we'll see the 90 out, but because at the same time, for them now in the Premier League, the problem is they're not going to get relegated, but they're not going to get European football at the same time. They're quite taking a chance. Traore takes it off his feet. Driving forward now is Newerton. Into the left-hand side for the substitute. Tricks and flicks to the left. Ball into the box. There's no one there. It is a little bit overhit, but that is where if I'm Newerton, I'm probably saying to my teammates, we've got forward players on there. Yes, maybe if I overhit the ball, hands up in the air, yes, maybe I have. But no one is attacking that ball, so regardless of what I've put in, it's poor from the attackers.
Yeah, especially when you're 3 goals down on aggregate. You've got to be piling men into the box here. You've got to be taking a risk. You've got to be gambling at that near or front post. It was a bit of a mess for Crystal Palace there, which led to the shot. But yeah, in the end, nothing doing. I tell you what, you need to gamble, don't you? You need to see your forward players into the box, and I think they'll be really disappointed, Shakhtar, that nobody was committing to try and get on the end of that from Newerton, who will be demanding more, I'm sure, from those players in the box.
Just over an hour played at Selhurst Park. It's Crystal Palace 2, Shakhtar Donetsk 1 on the evening, 5-2 on aggregate. The Eagles lead at the moment. They are bound for the final. Well, someone else, we've got, of course, all 4 semi-finals covered this evening on this service. Myself and Johnny being treated to an excellent one this evening at Selhurst Park. I'll bring an update elsewhere. It's a nice pass to Tyreek Mitchell. Drives himself through. Edge of the area, strike at goals. Blocked to in. Will be a throwing high on the left-hand side. But Palace, because Shakhtar throwing somebody bodies forward, it wouldn't shock me if they want to score a third. Yeah, absolutely. That was Mitchell in so much space on the far side. All of the action is centralised around that right-hand side, and on the left, Mitchell's just got so much grass in front of him to run into, and that is a product of Shakhtar throwing people forward, probably desperately trying to just close down the ball, hunting packs to try and get it back, but that's going to leave so much space in behind.
there's more goals in this one because both sides are looking for it. Well, Shakhtar are looking for it, which is going to leave space for Palace.
It's a long throw as well from Richards. I know he's a player you'd want in there as a centre back, but my word, has he got a good long throw in on him, the American defender. Be a quick update though of the other teams in the Europa League final in just a moment. Ball comes in, it's nodded on into a dangerous area, and it's put over the bar. Mateta just getting underneath it. Once again, it's quite an acrobatic finish.
He wants a bicey tonight, doesn't he?
He does. I don't know, as Glasner said, look, I've got a bonus for you if you score an acrobatic finish this evening. It's almost like in a video game where it says you've got to score this kind of goal and you get some currency or whatever. But once again, it was nodded on, I want to say, by Matt Vienko. And again, Mateta just gets underneath it, unfortunately, and he puts it over the bar. Pino picks it up. Is he brought down? And yes, he is. And again there from Pedrinho, because you can see it. Pino, all he wants to do is get his body in the way. Pedrinho, it's a soft foul, but they're always given. And is that just showing signs of frustration for Shakhtar?
I think so, and it's clever game management as well, isn't it, by Crystal Palace, by Pino. I mean, he knows what's coming, he knows the contact's coming, and as you said, as soon as he gets that nudge, he's going down, and the referees, they always give it. I never understand, actually, why the players trying to dispossess always fall for that trick. Just don't touch him, because we know what's going to happen, but it's really clever. Probably backs into him a little bit as well to kind of accept the contact. Does really well.
It always makes me laugh only because you spot on there. I don't know why they fall for trick, but you also know that if that happened to Pedrinho, he would want a free kick himself.
Absolutely.
Mateta driving forward does ever so well. He's got Newton kicking at him almost. There's a lovely ball to Mitchell. Fires one into the box, deflected away out for a corner. Might have hit the defender in the side of their head. I might have winded him on the stomach, I should say. It's might be a small pause in play, but Palace corner is coming up. Just an update on the other game elsewhere in the Conference League, of course. As it stands, Palace will be in the final. It looks like at the moment they will be facing Rayo Vallecano. Vallecano 1-0 up this evening. They're 2-0 up on aggregate. Strasbourg and Palace were massive favourites coming into the Conference League this year. That they were going to meet Vallecano. Well, they've got other ideas. 1-0 for Vallecano on the night, 2-0 on aggregate. Whereas in the Europa League, Braga held a 2-1 lead coming into the second leg. Early red card for Braga, and Freiburg now lead 2-0 on the evening, 3-2 on aggregate. A very similar story. Forest were leading 1-0 in the first leg coming into the second. Now thanks to 2 goals for Aston Villa, one from Watkins, one from the penalty spot from Bendia. Villa lead 2-0 and 2-1 on aggregate. So at the moment it will be a Villa and Freiburg final, and it will be a Palace and Vallecano final in the Conference League. Corner 2 come in, swung right to the back sticks. Goalkeeper collects it well. He had to, and it wasn't going to reach Kamada, but Kamada was free as a bird on the back post if it didn't. And this is no offence to either Strasbourg or Vallecano, and I'm sure Glasner won't care who he faces. It's still a final. But out of the two, I'm assuming you would prefer to play Vallecano than Gary O'Neill Strasbourg.
Yeah, absolutely. Vallecano, another side much like Palace that haven't really got much European pedigree. They reached the quarterfinals of the 2000-2001 UEFA Cup, and they only qualified for that competition through a FIFA Fair Play ranking, which I don't think you see anymore. I assume that means they didn't get many yellow cards. But that's the sort of team that Crystal Palace will be dealing with in the final. You'd have to say that's a fantastic opportunity, isn't it, to go and win a major European trophy?
As well, in the last few years, of course, since the league phases and things like that came in at the moment, a ball over the top looking to be brought down. Pedrinho over strike at goal, straight at Dean Hendricks. A good save though by the Palace number 1 into his arms. So Palace will be back on the ball once again. What you would see, especially when it was a Champions League and Europa League, it was group stages. A lot of times you saw the big boys from the Champions League drop down. Manchester United have been in quite a few finals. Liverpool were. And it always felt like, well, whoever's third in those Champions League groups, that's your winner of the Europa League. Whereas since the league phase have come in, you do get the stories of Vallecano and Palace in the finals. Freiburg are going to be in the final. Aston Villa last year were a Champions League team. Now they're in the final. It's a massive... Forest are in the semi-finals. They're not out of it yet. Of course, they could bring it back, no doubt about it. So there's a bit more of this underdog story. As you say, Vallecano, they're in the final. There's much more underdog stories than, Manchester United's having an underperforming season. We might nip the Europa League and get a trophy. It's a bit different now.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's the way it should be, really. It did feel a little bit unfair that a top Champions League side could have a bit of an off season in the group stage and suddenly become massive favourites. I remember there was a recent Europa League playoff between Barcelona and Manchester United. That shouldn't be happening, should it? So it's nice to see these sort of fairy tale stories, and that's just what we're seeing this season, and we're seeing it right in front of our eyes now. Crystal Palace and Rayo Vallecano could be the Conference League final.
It's refreshing to see, isn't it? Palace win the ball just outside the area. It's won well once again by Cambo. Great battle between himself and Eguinaldo, and he's still coming forward. He's been excellent as well. A lot of pressure on him this second half of the season, coming in to basically replace Matt Gahey, and he's done ever so well. Ball won though by Pedro Enrique in the middle. Swings it out to Pedrinho. Looking for space and looking to pick up options. Instead he's forced to go back to Gomez. He won't put it past Shakhtar, still getting a goal. Nice ball to the edge of the area. Right hand side it goes. Can they find an equaliser on the evening and push Palace till the very end? Quick update as well, there was a substitute. Mateta has gone off, Larson is on. That's one we were expecting, to be quite honest. I mean, when you've got the quality of those two, I don't think they need to see the 90 minutes out. Ball into the box just over the head of Traore. It'll fall for Sarr, the man who put Palace 2-1 up, tries to play it forward, deflected off of Gomez. Going to find space to run into centrally. He's got the space, he's got the pace. Nice pass to Pino. Sarr continues his run. Can Pino create something? He's brought down there, is he? Referee says no. Larson picks up the ball and continues to have it, but he needs some support. Pino is still down. Wondering where Mitchell is. He's still a little bit further back, but holding the width on the left-hand side. Pino is still down. It's not a head injury, so the referee doesn't have to stop the game. Kamada will stop the game, and I think Palace as well, they're happy to, even if Shakhtar get the ball back, they'll be happy with that. For Palace now, it's just not about making any huge mistakes because, as you said, you're already there, really. Yeah,
absolutely. You can just run the clock down now, can't you? I mean, this 2-1 lead on the night, it should be enough, as it looked like it might have been the back of the head for Pino. I think he does sort of catch him as he's tumbling to the ground. There's just like a little catching of the back of the head as the ball has been re-entered into the fray once again. Wharton out to the left-hand side, Palace on the ball.
I will say what's so good about Wharton, whenever I do see him, is I'm always thinking, for example, midfielders that get tackled or the foul. He's one touch, so no one can get near him because he just takes a touch moves.
Glides across the surface, doesn't he?
Yeah, well, I mean, you spoke about that first time pass he played out to Munoz. That was beautiful. Then when he took the shot, he dropped the shoulder, took a touch, took a strike. He's not a midfielder who needs 3-4 touches. Get it straight out. And I know obviously the World Cup's coming up soon, and the talk of who's going to be in the squad. He's a different profile to anyone else for me. For example, is Declan Rice a better midfielder? Yes. Is Elliot Anderson a better midfielder? Yes. But have they got the passing ability of Wharton? I don't think so. Nice ball over the top. It's cleared away though, but only as far as the back it goes for Graham. Pedrinho. Ball into the feet of Traore. He hasn't been involved as I'm sure he will have liked. As you spoke about, Johnny, he's a big striker, but they're not really getting into him. Strike from well out. Goes well wide from Matvienko. Maybe again just a bit of frustration. I can't pick out a pass and they go for goal. Arda will be disappointed with that. I don't think Arda will be disappointed with the first 45, but I think he'll be disappointed with the second half performance so far.
I think so, yeah. I mean, especially when you bring Traore on, what you need to do is get the ball into him, get balls into the box, into him, onto his head. And shooting from 25 yards out is not going to bring him into the game. You mentioned as well, Wharton, how good he is to watch, and it just reminded me of that raking ball out for the first goal, and you mentioned his credentials as a possible World Cup player for England. It was quite Gerrard-esque, the way he got the ball, and his first look was to fizz it out into the channel and then keep driving forward. England could do with that sort of thing. I can see him coming on maybe 60th, 70th minute when the game's getting away from us, just to get the foot on the ball and start playing those passes. I reckon he's going to be an important fixture of our World Cup.
Yeah, 100%. I think some people, especially in tournaments, get lost that it is a squad game. It's not an 11. Yes, Wharton's not starting this game, but as you say, 2-0 up, bring Wharton on. He will slow the game down. He'll keep the ball ticking over. Against a side where you need to ping a ball quickly out, Wharton will do that. Rice is the type of player to pick it up and drive 40 yards. Wharton's the type of player to take it up and ping it 40 yards. So I think you're spot on there. He's definitely a player who's got to be on the plane for me, and he's another excellent showing. Could be going with a European medal as well to the World Cup in just a few weeks. Of course, all those games you catch finish of this service as well. A lot of late ones as well because of the USA time for us to be covering. Strand Larsen getting back, those fresh legs proving quality there. Taken down there by Gomez is Sarr looking for the advantage. No advantage coming. Gomez is unhappy, he's on his knees, he's can't believe it's a free kick once again. I just think that's frustration more than anything because it's a clear foul. It's not a yellow card, but clear foul. We have just played over 71 minutes so at Selhurst Park. It's been a fantastic opening 70 minutes or so. Where do we go from the last 20? Crystal Palace on the evening lead 2-1. Thanks to an own goal from Pedro Enrique. A lovely finish from the man who's down on the deck right now, Sarr. It's 2-1 to the Eagles on the night, 5-2 on aggregate. At the moment they're bound for a final meeting with Rayo Vallecano. We've still got a quarter of the semi-final to go, if you will, to take us through to that full-time whistle. Pass you off to Johnny.
Yeah, 20 minutes away from a European final. Crystal Palace, they're so close. Can they get over the line? As forward goes Richards on this right-hand side. It's going to go out for a throw-in to Shakhtar, who really now they need to get a goal in the next few minutes, don't they, if they're going to have any chance of clawing their way back into this tie. 5-2, as you said, on aggregate. And every minute that goes by brings Palace closer and brings Shakhtar Donetsk further away. As look at Traore, the number 2, all the way back. Shakhtar have had a throw in there right deep in their own half on the left hand side. As tell you what, Riznik is closed down really quickly and just about able to fire the ball away before he was crowded out by Strand Larsen, who has really put himself about since he's come on. He's those fresh legs, he's been harrying those Shakhtar players, and I imagine that's exactly why Glasner brought him on.
100%. And that's the thing, if anything, for example, when he won the ball, Sarr was almost playing a direct striker, wasn't he? It was almost Strand Larsen, I've got the fresh legs, you've got the pace still. Let me get back, let me help you out. And not just as a teammate, if you see your substitute coming on to look, yeah, I've got the fresh legs, let me work a bit more for you. I think it just helps out your team a little bit more, don't you? Now Sarr knows that, right, he's going to run for me, so maybe I can stay a little bit more central, look to hit on the counter. And Strand Larsen as well, as you said, he spoke, he got his goal last week. He will score as well, so keep that pressure on the Teton, if you will.
Absolutely. Here's Gomez. Oh, he's given it away to Kamada here, who can stride forward. He goes down. He'll take the seconds. He'll let those minutes fade by. This all plays into the hands of Crystal Palace, who possibly go into game management mode now. It's going to be just those long minutes for Crystal Palace fans as they hope that they can see this one out. But they're looking very good at the moment. Here is Wharton. He plays it out to the left-back position, and Canvo, who strides forward with those long legs, now checks back and finds Kamada. Receives it back and then goes back towards his defender with Lacroix. Out to the right-hand side with Richards. Now, Crystal Palace content just to pass this ball around and win the throw-in. It was Munoz trying to play it forward. It came off Enrique, who had a really good first half, was unlucky to concede that own goal. It wasn't his fault at all, just a cross that deflected behind his goalkeeper and into the back of the net. But he created the second. Eguinaldo, lovely touch and finish, bending it into the top corner. As forward come Palace now. It's bouncing, challenge in the air, won by Shakhtar on the right-hand side with Graham. But it's a bit of a feisty one on that right-hand side, but the referee has blown. It's going to be, I think, a throw-in, possibly a free kick, and it's gone Shakhtar's way, so nothing doing there. But Crystal Palace happy to take the sting out of the game, I would imagine.
100%, as you said, they'll be happy to knock it around for 15 minutes because they're there, aren't they? Shakhtar making their final change. Pedrinho is the man coming off, and Ferreira, number 37, is coming on. And I know they've already made a change. Palace being critical of Shakhtar fans, they're still bouncing up and down. Look, you've been to a semi-final. It's a big achievement. You don't want to take anything away. Just kind of leaves a bad taste in your mouth when you don't get there because you've got so close. If you're Glasner, you've got to be looking, I think, at a Wharton coming off, a Pino, a Sarr.
Save the legs.
Yeah, 100%. In the league, they'll probably get a few rests as well ahead of this final, but yeah, there's no need to keep them on at this point. Here comes Shakhtar.
Here comes Shakhtar. Traore stumbles as he shoots and sort of scrambles it goalwards, but it was far from his cleanest effort, and it just bobbles through into the gloves of Henderson. And every time this happens, they'll slow it down. He'll take all the time in the world and just run down that clock. Traore's really not been in this game so far. He's been a bit of a fringe player up top. He's chasing the ball. He's a willing runner, but he just isn't making an impact, really, is he?
No, he isn't, and I feel from we covered the Villa Spurs Spurs game at the weekend. It's very similar to a Tammy Abraham. If
Absolutely.
you're a striker and no one gives you service, you can run around all you want, can't you? That's all you can do. So I really feel for Traore. He has tried to get himself about, and his teammates haven't helped him. He's almost running around like a headless chicken just to be involved. Poor pass from Kamada there, but heavy touch on Palace. And as you say, anytime they can just slow it down, take seconds off the clock. Henderson had the ball fake to roll out a few times. Just take any seconds off the clock, they'll be happy with it.
Absolutely. It was a rare misplaced pass that by Kamada, who's looked imperious so far. Henderson goes long, and it's going to be brought down now. And here is Strand Larsen, goes out wide to Munoz, who has plenty of space on the right side. He rolls it in towards Strand Larsen, who turns away, gets the shot away, but Rizik gets the save down with his feet. Very well dealt with, was alert to it, got down well. Strand Larsen with a lovely turn in behind, and his shot was slightly tame though, and Riznik was able to just get down to it, and in the end possibly more comfortable than he might have expected. But Crystal Palace now slow it down once again. Richards goes infield to Lacroix, and now on the left hand side with Canvo and further left, but Shakhtar might have dispossessed. Yes, they have. Who's going to win the throw though? I think it's going to go Crystal Palace's way, and all the time in the world it seems at the moment for the Eagles, as another substitution looks to be made for the home side, and it is Pinho who's coming off. He's been energetic, he's been lively throughout, and it's Johnson who comes on for the home side, who are just seeing it out, watching those seconds tick by. What do you make of Pinho's performance today?
I think he's been very good. I think as well important for Palace is to stand. I mean, I think personally Kamada's been the standout we've spoken.
Would agree.
That, but there's no one's had a bad game for Palace. They've all been 7 out of 10s, and then you might have your 8s, but Kamada has been probably the best player. But look, Sar's been great.
Sar's won it back. Strand Larsen out to the right side with Munoz, has lots of time to tee up a cross, but it's blocked and cleared away. But look at how quickly Palace can break. I mean, they can spring the trap, can't they? They take it slow, they look like they're winding the clock down, but then Sar wins it back, and suddenly they've got 3 on 3. And I tell you what, Riznik, he's running back to his own goal and almost has to clear it off his own line there, under no pressure really. And now forward come Palace. Wharton wants it, he gets it on the edge of the box, takes a touch, now plays it out wide to the left, and once again it looks like they'll slow it all down, will Crystal Palace. And here's Kamada, dispossessed, and he tries to get the challenge in, but he's not quite able to. Shakhtar will now look to come forward. Can they do anything in this last 12 or so minutes? Newerton goes backwards instead. Henrique driving forward, the number 13, goes in field, feet and back, receives it, but it's a poor pass and easily dealt with and cleared away. Throw in to Shakhtar, and they just haven't looked like they're going to score this half, do they?
No, in the first half they did look really dangerous. They had a good few chances, didn't they? I think it's credit to Palace as well, as we spoke about. They've defended really well, tactically they've been fantastic, and what we speak about as well on the counter, you spot on, they've been dangerous, but also 2 of the 3 are fresh legs now. Johnson's fresh legs and pace, it's Strand Larsen as well. Sar's put a lot into the game, but he's still got pace about him, so it's almost him saying that, look, defensively let's sit back, but that forward 3, let's add 2 fresh legs to it, so on the counter we're even more dangerous. Very
good position for Palace, and I tell you what, it looks even better if Matvienko's taking shots from 30-35 yards out, the captain for Shakhtar, the Ukrainian league leaders. But that was wild and always blazing, and you said it earlier, frustration, I think it's starting to get the better of them.
Second time now he's done it, as you say, so I think that's even more. The first one's the first one because you might say, I can't find a pass, let me just go for goal. The second time you do it, that's where you go, why are you doing that? If I'm a teammate, I'm going, just keep the ball ticking over. Again, you do it once, yeah, okay, you can't find a teammate. Or if it's a striker, you don't care how many times does it. Again, the skipper should know a little bit better there, because as you say, what that's taken 40 seconds off the clock. Palace are going to go long. They might win it, they might lose it, but now Shakhtar have lost almost 2 or 3 minutes of time of trying to come forward and get another goal.
Yeah, we talk about game management, that is certainly not that, but now forward comes Shakhtar on the right hand side. Traore tries to collect it, can he do so? And he actually ends up fouling Kamada, and there goes another minute, and Palace will be happy all day long just to take these stoppages as they come. It was Alisson who was driving forward, and in the end it was Asaki, driving forward, and Traore just tries to put a challenge in, he tries to lunge in, he's trying to show willingness, but a frustrated tackle. I was going to say a tired tackle, but he's just come on, but I do think that frustration sort of breeds a bit of clumsiness, and it was a clumsy challenge from Traore, and Crystal Palace will accept every chance they can possibly get to just run this clock down. They're 10 minutes away from a European final, and Aston Villa in a very strong position to do the same. They're now 3-0 up against Forest with about 12 minutes to play there, and Freiburg, after Braga went down to 10 men early on, are 3-1 up on the night as well and closing in themselves. So that's how it's looking. Rayo Vallecano still 1-0 up against Strasbourg, and it looks like the die has been cast. It looks like we've got our finals, unless there's some late drama here. But Crystal Palace looking very content to sit back and let Shakhtar have the ball. Here's Gomez for the away side. There's not a lot of urgency. He goes out to the left with Enrique. And now infield once again to Matvienko, who's had a couple of shots from range that have not challenged the target by any means. Out to the right-hand side with Graham, who came on for Tobias really early on. Tobias looked a threat in those first 15 minutes, but then was substituted. We assume that must have been enforced. It was John McGinn who has put Aston Villa in command, complete control of their semi-final. That all-English semi-final with Forest is now on the left-hand side. It is Enrique. Can he find a cross? No. He goes back to Matvienko. Is he going to shoot again? No, he's going to cross this time. It's a good cross, but it's in towards the number 2 Traore, the big fella. He gets his head on it, but he just doesn't get any direction, and it's miles away from goal.
It is, and once again, it's not a bad cross, but Traore is almost away from goal, isn't he, heading it back? I'm not saying it's the easiest chance, but maybe he could have chested it down, keep the play going. So watching replays back of the goals. I feel for Shakhtar with the first one, but it's one of them where as well the sequence was beautiful from Palace. I mean, watching the Shakhtar goal back, it's easily the goal of the evening. It's great from the left wing Aguinaldo, but then at the same time from I know he's not a number 9 in his side, but from that poacher's finishing kind of aspect, ball into the front post, Salah, he just pokes it. Great goal from Sam, Mr. Conference League for Palace. And look, they deserve to go into the final. And, well, Villa are making a mockery. They've gone 4-0 up now.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic semi-final this has been for Aston Villa at Villa Park. Of course, they came into it on the back foot slightly from the first leg, but they have motored away from Nottingham Forest and not looked back. Unai Emery will be very, very happy with his side's performance, but here come Shakhtar. Will Turan be happy with his side's performance? I don't think so. Here is Bondar coming forward slowly for Shakhtar, fizzes it in towards Traore, but he's out-muscled and out-crowded, and that's been the story of his match so far, really, since he came on. It's booted down the other end and gathered by Graham on that right-hand side, and it's now Bondar. They've got to be quick. They need a goal. They probably needed one about 10 minutes ago. Here's Matvienko onto the left-hand side. It's finding Enrique, who's been bombing up and down that left-hand side all match. I mean, he's been a willing runner, but his cross is poor and easily dealt with by Richards. And once again, Shakhtar collect the ball. Gomez really, really deep is Gomez trying to collect the ball and make something happen. Once again, it's Enrique, the outlet on the left. He cuts inside this time onto his right boot. Plays it across to the other centre-back, Bondar, who looked like he was going to shoot for a second. Doesn't. Goes wide to Graham. Graham on this right-hand side, and now it's into Bondar. Sarke's on that right-hand side as well. He's got Graham on the outside. It's played in and well intercepted, and now Wharton comes away with it for Crystal Palace, and they suddenly on the break, but it's a slightly over-hit pass, and it's Strand Larsen with that ball, overhits it and gathered again by Shakhtar, but they're just not showing any signs really. Here's Enrique coming forward for the away side in their sort of cream and gold strip. It's a lovely strip, but it's not getting them any closer to goal at the moment. Here is Enrique. Now to his centre-back, Bondar, and it just seems quite side to side at the moment for Shakhtar, doesn't it?
It's almost that they're happy to just not concede another and get embarrassed a little bit and be 2-3-1 aggregate defeats, isn't it? So that's been their problem.
Oh, Traore couldn't quite. Sorry to cut across you there, Lewis, but Traore looked like he was about to latch on to a loose ball. Aguinaldo trying to play it in behind. I think Aguinaldo might have shifted from more. He was a sort of left winger, an out-and-out left winger. He's sort of moved a bit central now, playing in behind Traore. Maybe that's to try and bring the number 2, the striker, into the game a little bit more. But it's actually Kamada for Crystal Palace who's possibly been my man of the match so far, bringing it forward and getting it again. Him and Wharton have been imperious. He fizzes a long ball out to the right. What a ball that is! Onto the right side for Munoz, who clips it back across, and it's just behind everyone. But once again, Kamada, that's a beautiful ball, isn't it?
As you said, first I thought he overhit it, then we just see Munoz fly into picture. Obviously, Kamada can see what we can't. We're looking at broadcast pictures. It's a beautiful pass. I agree, he's been fantastic. It does mean Shakhtar can come forward, though.
Enrique, but he's misplaced his pass, and Strand Larsen doing the dirty work back there. He's been pretty good since he's come on, hasn't he? He's been energetic. He's been quite a good defensive presence, actually, breaking up the play since he came on. Here is Kamada, who's been the orchestrator, making things tick, the pulse of the side on this quite famous evening for Crystal Palace. Closing in on a European final. Richards going backwards. He'll go to Henderson, the captain, who plays it long, and the further away from their goal, the better for Crystal Palace. Here's Henrique for Shakhtar. Arda Turan's side, who lead the Ukrainian league comfortably, but they're anything but comfortable here. It's actually Crystal Palace who are in the driving seat and have been for most of this game, and it's another overhit pass, and Crystal Palace will watch that go behind Selhurst Park. Rounds of applause all around it on our off-tube unofficial screens, and trying to get that crowd going. G them up is the centre-back, Lacroix, and it's a bit of a party in the stands. They're getting closer and they know it. They know they are so close to this Conference League final. And I mean, just talking about what this means to those fans who have watched the side largely sort of languishing in relegation battles, sort of mid to low table in the Premier League. This is a special run, isn't it?
Oh, 100%. And when Glasner came in, he said he wanted to do big things, and every manager says that, don't they? And I mean, exceptional at the back end of his first season, Elise and Eze, that forward three, you thought, oh, if they can keep a hold of them, they'll really do something. They lost Elise. You're bringing some fantastic changes. He's built the squad ever so well, wins an FA Cup in his first full season, then the Community Shield as well, and in his final game as boss, he's got a chance to send them as winners and send them into Europa League as well. They will be bound for Leipzig in 20 days. Triple change coming up here for Palace, and this is what we're on about. Just get players off Kamada, get the round of applause as well. Lerma coming on for him, Hughes coming on, I can imagine is perhaps Wharton. There'll be a third change to make as well.
Yeah, and I tell you what, if there's anybody or any two players who deserve this moment to soak in the applause, it's those two in the midfield, isn't it? It's Adam Wharton and it's Kamada, who have been absolutely fantastic today. By far the two best players on the pitch, just keeping things ticking over, breaking up the play when needed, and just being imperious throughout. Munoz, who's also played well. You said it earlier, actually, Lewis, there's not really been a bad performance, has there, for Crystal Palace today?
No, I think as we spoke about, Nathaniel Klein will be coming on for Munoz as well, just for full confirmation. I agree with you, Kamada would be my player of the match as well. Him, Sarr and Wharton were the standouts, and Kamada was the best for me. But Richards was good, Henderson was good. Campbell was, there isn't a player look at and go, oh no, you were under par, you weren't up to it. Everyone was a minimum 7 out of 10. Absolutely, and that's what you need at this stage of a European competition, and they've been absolutely fantastic. It's Will Hughes entering the fray. He'll get stuck in, the number 19. He goes down, he wants a free kick, he won't get one. And now Shakhtar, can they come forward? They're going to have to go long, are they? No. Maybe they should have done, because they've just conceded a throw-in, although I think Will Hughes was a little bit too snappy on the heels of Gomez, and it will be a free kick to Shakhtar, the away side, who have the ball now with Riznik, the goalkeeper, but they're hemmed right in, back in their own half, and actually being pressed now. Sarr and Strand Larsen doing their bit for the side, really pressing Shakhtar and not allowing them to get forward, which is what they need to do. And to be honest, as we tick over into the 89th minute, 5-2 down, it does feel too little too late, but long they go to Traore. Can they salvage anything from this? Henrique, his ball is deflected, it could go anywhere, but Will Hughes, the substitute, is there to clear away. Traore recycles it. Gomez now, edge of the box. He goes out wide to the right with Isake, Graham, and now in field
to the defender Bondar, and Matvienko now to the left-hand side with Henrique. And once again, a little bit of impetus is slowed down, but they've gone into Traore, who turns and shoots, but there's absolutely nothing on it. It might have taken a slight deflection on its way through, possibly Lacroix, but it was tame and easily into the gloves of Henderson. As we move into only 1 minute of added time, the roar goes up around Selhurst Park. They know they're there now. Nothing really to worry about. Even Glasner's getting involved. You don't often see that from the manager, who rises to the acclaim of his fans, and it looks like Crystal Palace are there in a European final. It's a foregone conclusion at this point. Shakhtar Donetsk on the right-hand side with Graham. Are they going to go for any sort of consolation? Because this tie, as a contest, surely is over now. 5-2. They're not going to find 3 goals in 20 seconds, and it's a party at Selhurst Park. What a moment this is for these fans.
I think it's great, as you said. How many years were they, in the Championship? And yes, they've been in the Premier League team for a while, but mid-table, never challenging for anything. They've won the FA Cup. What 2 years they've had under Glasner? And what's important for a lot of teams is you've left the side in a better place and you found it. He's done exactly that.
He's done exactly that as he takes the acclaim, takes the applause. Crystal Palace have done it. They're in a European final. They're in the Conference League final. Goals from Sarr for Crystal Palace. And, well, what a performance it's been. They've been on top throughout. There have been times when Shakhtar Donetsk have had more of the ball, but it's Crystal Palace who are going through. Goals from Sarr, that Enrique own goal in the first half, either side of Eguinaldo's wonder strike for Shakhtar. But that's enough. 5-2 on aggregate, 2-1 to Crystal Palace. They're in the final.